Happy Independence Day, friendos. It is the untouched up Chad Dukes here on, I guess this is you, Schoode. I didn't really plan on doing this today, so you'll have to forgive me. Let me know if everything is sounding okay. I actually had the great Josh Soroka go over my setup, and we improved some things from an audio perspective. And it sounds like we're going to improve some things from a visual perspective here in the near future as well. Looking forward to that. Is this happening? Diego said at 4:30. Yeah, I guess I did say we were going live at 4:30. Look, man, you get what you pay for. I mean, the fucking show that you pay for, it's going to be there when it's going to be there. This is just for shits and giggles. I'm here today because my Independence Day did not turn out the way that I thought it was going to, but also I don't make plans on Independence Day anymore. It becomes, first of all, I used to have a large Independence Day party every year, especially when I first got the pool. And that changed because for about 10 years in a row, it fucking rained buckets. I'm not even kidding. It might have been more than 10 years in a row. It was outrageous. Just rained constantly, and everybody would be huddled under the, in the living room or under my little fucking hutch that I have in the backyard. And it was miserable. And then what I realized is that everybody has plans on Independence Day. Everybody's throwing their own cookout. Everybody's throwing their own party, or they're going to one, or they're going to see the fireworks. They're taking their kids to do something. And it's like, I'm not going to compete. I'll compete when there's shit that means something to me, like my fantasy football draft or Christmas in June or a live show or something of that nature. So I've punched out on Independence Day. I hope you guys are having a great one. Flattering that some of you are stopping by here while you're doing whatever it is you're doing. I hope it's going well. But yeah, I didn't have any plans today except my wife and I were going to go out for a beautiful supper. Had reservations for a beautiful supper, and then she's feeling under the weather, so I don't know. I was like, all right, I'll cancel the reservation, and now I've got Jack in one hand, shit in the other, and my penis is small. So figured out, why not come down here? I've got so much that I want to talk about. I have so much that I've found that I want to comment on that I'm just going to be here for an extended period of time. Right now, here's how long I'm planning on being here. This is filled with coffee because I wanted a little pep in my step. I've gone back to exercising, it doesn't look like it, but trying to get an hour's worth of movement a day is what I'm trying to do. We'll see if that fucking works. So I wanted a little pep in my step. Took a pool bath. That's why I'm running a little bit behind. And here we are now, ladies and germs. I have a cooler. I have a cooler in my possession that is filled with beer. So when it comes time to switch, if those of you are still here, I will make the big switch over, and we can see how much my mood either improves or gets into that angry drunk territory. I'm capable of both. But hit the like button, and if you want to comment along, that would be fantastic. Looks like we have some super chats already. We do accept super chats on this show, and not only do we accept super chats, but I feel a certain way about them.
I'm butt-sliced.
So let's take care of the people that are taking care of us. TJ Evans, happy Independence Day. Happy Independence Day to you, TJ Evans. Thank you so much for being here. Adam Kinnaman, my fucking dude, $20. Orange Boy Mafia represent. You know how Nino feels about the orange.
I just want to say, I get butt-sized.
Happy Independence Day. Happy to be home and drinking beer by the river on my property and not out. That sounds close to perfect, Adam Kinnaman, I have to say. Not being out amongst the great unwashed. There's 3 holidays I don't go out on at all. St. Patrick's Day, Independence Day, and New Year's Eve. You are not going to catch me at a watering hole. It is amateur fucking hour. People drinking Zimas and punching each other silly. Oh, yeah, yeah. Thank you, Adam Kinnaman. Very, very kind. Wyatt Swanson became a YouTube member. Thank you so much. Is there a comment pinned to the top of this? If you'd like to become a YouTube member, there is a link in the description. You get the entire back catalog of Solid Dudes, and it's a dope one. There's a lot of fun stuff there. We will have Solid Dudes on Saturday, by the way. Expect to see all 56 of you back here. I will be joined by Othman Boucherib. I will be joined by Mikey Iron Mike Sleep. I'll be joined by the return of Sweet Daddy James, and I think Joe Azer is going to check in from Florida. I actually have an Ant-Man update, too, that I'll give you here in just a couple of few. Jeff Nelms is an orange boy. Who all out here gonna try to be one of these orange boy? Love the orange boys. Thank you so much to Jeff Nelms.
I'm butt-sized.
Gotta say it, $20 super chat gets me butt-sized. They all don't get me butt-sized, but that one does. This is a 1776 super chat. Thank you, Hank. That is very fitting today. Hope you're having a beautiful Independence Day. This one feels better than the last few. Thank you, Hank. Very, very kind of you. Appreciate the support from you and your lovely... Oh, and look, here she is. Happy to be spending the end of our Independence Day with you, Fish Hat. Thank you so much, Laura Reuter. It is a Fish Hat summer, and I do have some news. Tomorrow, Saturday night, if you are not listening to this live, Saturday night right here on youtube.com/Chad Duke Show, we're going to be having ourselves a little fun. We're going to be having ourselves a little solid dudes soiree. And during that soiree, we're going to be doing something that I should have done a long time ago. And I've given away fish hats on this stream. I think I gave away 6 fish hats at the beginning of Fish Hat Summer. But I haven't given away my own fish hat, and that was really fucking stupid. We are going to be giving away the very first Moray Neal rope fish hat for Fish Hat Summer. I mean, I can't be any more thrilled about this. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Feels like the Atlantico Amigos should have been all over this. Like, why weren't we all over this already? Like, we should have had fish hats locked, stocked, and ready to rock. We should have been kicking the tires, lighting the fires, Big Daddy, at the beginning of the fucking summer. I only got one of these. I'm giving it away tomorrow. So fucking, you better swing your ass back by. You get a chance to win this bad boy. And then who knows, maybe moving forward, there might be some more available. Fish Hat Summer in full effect. If you're wearing a fish hat, make sure you send me a picture. I don't have much going on. I really don't. So yeah, come on by. Figure that whole thing out on Friday. We'll figure out how we're going to give it away. I haven't really figured that part of it out yet, but we're going to do it. Thank you so much, Laura. Appreciate the super chat. Hope you and your husband are having a good one. And Officer Tom Friendly in the building. Orange Boy, Atlantico in one hand, Eagle Rare in the other. So glad to see you live after a 17-hour shift. Holy shit. Well, glad you are home from that, Tom. You got to get a new... I don't understand these jobs you motherfuckers get where you get promoted all the way up the ranks, then your hours are the worst. I mean, you and Hot Man Ted have got to kind of figure out what you're doing, because this ain't it. This ain't it. But you have earned yourself the big man dance with this.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck is going on?
Tell you what's going on. We're having ourselves a little 4th of July throwdown here on the Chad Duke Show YouTube channel. Yeah, I would agree the hat is amazing looking, Jesse. Tom, thank you, buddy. Greatly appreciate you. Yeah, boy, do we have a lot to get to on the program today. I found a terrifying video that I desperately want to watch and comment on with you and maybe get some of your thoughts. I found a new festival. We're going to make a road trip. We're making plans today. We're making plans today for a road trip in October. And sometimes I say, hey, everybody's invited, and I don't mean it, but everybody's invited, and I mean it. It's in North Carolina, and it's based around a type of food. I have been going to North Carolina my entire life, literally for as long as I can remember. My grandparents lived in Asheville. You guys know how often I go to the Outer Banks. I've been to Wilmington. I've been to Charlotte. I've been to Sonny Ledford's house. Take me to Lake Norman Bath. Been to Raleigh. Been to Rocky Mount. I've been everywhere, man. I love North Cackalack. I'm probably gonna end up there if I don't stroke out beforehand. But somehow, in all of my journeys to that great state, I I have never encountered this food, and I just encountered it this weekend. I haven't tried it yet. I am excited to share it with you. And because now I'm reading about it online, the algorithm has me locked in. And they let me know that there's other like-minded individuals down south of the Mason-Dixon that put together a little festival for this shit. So that I found some footage from a Rodcast event from how many years ago? 15 years ago. I found a video that we made of a Rodcast, a Chad Duke Show Rodcast in HD. This is not me, Big Dane, and Othman, and Tube, or Sven, or any of those other people. I found a video that's, I can't even believe it. It's just so wild. And to think about where I was then, if I knew that I was going to end up here in the basement in front of 56 people, I really thought I was about to pop. A lot of people that were in the room with me popped. You'll see it. It's fucking crazy. So there's that. I just, I don't even know where to begin. I found an eBay item that I might have to bid on, even though it's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. But let's start here. I am at home. All of my friends have things to do, or they're with people they care about more than me, and that's fine. They should. Nobody should be fucking saddled with my existence. But Ant-Man in particular is down in North Kakalaki with Money Monk, and I guess he's living a pretty good life. This is the photo that I was sent today. First of all, you can't tell me that the dude on the right isn't my brother. I don't know how many of you know Casey Dukes, but if you've ever seen Casey Dukes, that's Casey Dukes. So I don't know how that's possible. It's not him, but it's as close to being him as you could possibly be without being him. But that's not the focus of this picture. What it sounds like the boys are doing actually sounds like a good time. They go on Monk's boat, and there is a sandbar that emerges in the middle of the sound. Maybe it's the ocean. I'm not sure. I don't know where it is. That looks like the ocean in the background. And they sail out to the sandbar, and they set up a tent, and they put chairs in the sand, ass in the water, and they sit there and they, listen to music, and everybody pulls their boats up. Sounds like fun. I mean, you aren't going to find me shitting on doing that. That sounds like an amazing time. I get this picture. And you got to understand one thing about Ant-Man. He is a squirrely motherfucker. Like, he can't hold still. He's constantly wiggling around. He's very clumsy. Like, he's clumsy in life, but he's not clumsy in something that would be necessary for his job. Does that make sense? Like, Ant-Man, when he's doing his gig, like when he's up on a ladder, he's very nimble. Like, I've never seen him slip and fall when he's hanging a picture or going up in the shop. He go up 12, 15 feet in the air. But just in his regular life, he seems very uncomfortable with his body. Like, his arms, he's kind of got what Bo has going on, where Bo's arms never worked. So I get this picture, and I'm trying to figure out, what the fuck is he doing? Why is he standing like that? He got that wide stance. Ant-Man got that wide stance. But what is this? Is this because of the weight? Is this because of the hips? Is this because of the thighs? His feet are clearly buried in the sand. I don't know what this is. And it reminds me of a time when I first started hanging out with Anthony. And one of the first times he came into my pool. Gross. That sounds disgusting. Don't isolate. No one isolate that. One of the first times he went in my pool. That sounds gross too. One of the first times he swam in my pool, as he was descending into the pool, he yelled out, "Man, I got to get all this weight off my thighs. Or I got to get this weight off my legs." Something to that effect. I wonder if this has something to do with that. There's so much weight that needs to be distributed that the wider base, but all the weight is on the legs. That's what I don't understand. Like if Jimmy was standing like this, it would make sense to me because Jimmy's very top heavy. And I'm so jealous of his ability to pull his shirt off and just sit there with the biggest pair of board shorts I've ever seen in my life. Like, I don't even know where you buy a bathing suit like that. And he's eating. He's eating in front of everybody, which you should do, by the way. The fat people move that all fat people do where we pretend like we don't eat in front of other people because we're embarrassed. It's a shit move. Ant-Man don't do that. I admire him for it. But he absolutely, I'm looking at this picture. It's goofy as hell. Strange. I couldn't explain if you had a pistol up to my mama's head, as Patrice O'Neill would say, I'd have to say bye, mama. But he's going to live a better life than all of us. You got to understand that. Ant-Man is absolutely living a happier life than most people that you would just assume have got more going on than he does or should be having a better. I have a house. I have a family that cares about me. I got kids. I got a career. He doesn't have any of that, and he's happier than all of us. He's happier than all of us. So for that, I say, mazel tov, Ant-Man. Enjoy your time down there. Nathan thinks that the thighs are chafing. It could be. It could be some chafing ass thighs. It's very possible. Tom says, a fellow short man, that is not the right stance. Well, it certainly isn't flattering. It certainly isn't flattering. E-Rock is in here. Hello, Mr. E to the Rock. We can all live a good life if he has everyone taking care of him and paying for him. Well, that is true. That is absolutely true. If you don't ever have to pick up or foot a bill in your life, that probably leads to some. It wouldn't for me, though, Eric. I swear to God, it wouldn't. I wouldn't feel right about it. I would feel like a burden. Not saying that he should. The people that are paying for him, he's not some fucking gigolo. You know? These are grown men with business licenses and LLCs and complex 401k situations. They know what a SEP fund is. And they're willing to do this. So, I scarcely know where to begin. Let's start here. Again, this is from, do the math. What's 15 years ago? Is that 2010? I think that's 2010. Don't be off put by this picture. This is the thumbnail. So let me give some context here before we watch this. It's only 2 minutes and 45 seconds long, but boy, does it tell a story. That is the shirtless Puerto Rican behind me. In case those of you are curious, that is the Schoodester. I believe this is the Lavar and Dukes days at 106.7 The Fan, where I was also doing a show called the Chad Dukes Rodcast in HD on HD radio. You can go ahead and guess how much money, I think it was CBS at the time, Infinity Broadcasting, whatever the fuck it was at the time, was paying me to do that. And I'll give you a hint. I've made more in Super Chats today. So I was heavily into the UFC back then. Really a big MMA fan. To the point where I think if I would have kept hammering at that angle, I think I could have figured out a way to maybe have a career doing that. But I have more of a casual interest in it now. It doesn't move me the way that it used to. I still follow the sport. I still am a fan, but it's kind of like professional wrestling. I think I grew out of it a little bit. I was doing a show, and the WEC was having a big fight. And if you don't know what the WEC was, it is a fight promotion that no longer exists. It was absorbed by the UFC. And Uriah Faber was fighting somebody. I don't remember. But Uriah Faber had been on the show. He's a very handsome man, California kid. Look him up. He had a divot in his chin. Very handsome, very handsome. And we wanted to go watch the fight, and that nobody was showing the WEC fight. So we contacted this little bar called Afterlife 360 in Manassas, which is still fucking there. I can't believe it. But I drove past it the other day, and I'm like, I cannot believe this bar is still there. I reached out to Luke Thomas, who now is a gigantic deal. Luke Thomas has been on Joe Rogan. Luke Thomas is one of the most respected guys in mixed martial arts commentary. Massive dude, hugely successful, rocketed past me. So he helped promote it. And then I think that's it. We had a listener named Creepy Justin. That was his name. He eventually spurged out, as everybody does. And he had a knack for getting shit done. Like, Creepy Justin booked Big Boy from Outkast on the Chad Dukes show Rodcast, on the Chad Dukes Rodcast, which should not have been possible. We should have had no guests on that show unless we could trick them. But one of my favorite people on the planet, Big Boy from Outkast, on the show because Creepy Justin make it happen. Creepy Justin somehow figured out a way to get the word out. There was a UFC fight night in town the same day. And he figured out a way to get the word out to the fighters that this was the only place in town to watch the WEC fight. I have no idea how he did it. I didn't pay $1 in appearance fees, but Seth Petrozelli was there, who is the guy that knocked out Kimbo Slice. He's mentioned a couple times, and it's very embarrassing. Joe Silva was there, who was the head booker for the UFC at the time. There's a bunch of fighters there, and Angel looks like Robbie Lawler, so people thought that Angel was Robbie Lawler. He was signing autographs and brother hugging, and this little tiny fucking bar in Manassas was packed to the rafters. Now, it was all bullshit. It was all smoke and mirrors, but if you didn't know any better and you watch this horrible video, you might think, oh, these guys are moving up in this world. They're going to be something in this mixed martial arts community. And, of course, that was not the case. That would end up not being true. But this is a little 2 minute and 45-second video that probably doesn't mean anything to you guys, but it is a porthole back to a time that I have completely forgotten. I was still in radio-wise a very young man doing a sports show that I hated but was doing well and doing this other crazy show that was trying to be like Opie and Anthony and Don and Mike and Howard Stern, trying to keep that legacy alive in an era before canceling. You go back and listen to all the shit from before canceling and you try to put that shit on the air now, it would have been outrageous to try to do that while you're doing a sports talk radio normie show. But back then, it didn't matter. Nobody was offended. Or at least they weren't get you fired type of offended. All right.
Chad Dukes I'm not broadcasting, but recording this live from Afterlife 360 in Manassas. As you can see, Shaky D's going to take a panorama.
There's Drab T-shirt. So this is how far away this is that Drab T-shirt would still come out to things I did. I forgot he was there until I just saw that. It's funny if you know the cast of characters and you watch this video and see who's in the background. You're like, oh, I can't believe this was then. Can you imagine me trying to get Drab to come out to a bar to watch a WEC fight that our radio show was hosting? Because that show was me, Drabby, and Barty. That was what that show was. So I forgot he was there. That's crazy.
Shaky D's going to take a pan around here. It's pretty packed.
I mean, you got to understand, that's unbelievable. The WEC was tiny. They didn't even show up in the ratings. Like, I enjoyed the fights. Mike Brown was in there. Who else? Jens Pulver. Trying to remember all the dudes I used to watch in that shit. But we packed this motherfucker out because Creepy Justin loved our show, and then he was able to somehow worm his way in with the UFC, and all the fucking heavy hitters started coming out. To this... When I tell you this was a seedy bar in Manassas, it's the low of the low rent. No disrespect to those guys. I'm sure it's a palace now, but at the time I was like, holy shit.
If you're watching the WEC fight, I guess what happened was we decided to do this. It was going to be great, but then Creepy Justin got involved.
Is my voice really annoying to you in this? I mean, I just can't stand myself, and I can't stand listening or watching myself, so this is nails on a chalkboard. But for some reason, is it nasally? I can't put my finger on what's going on with my voice. Look at that handsome man behind me. It's kind of like me looking into the future.
MMA fighters come up here. Got some guys that won the Ultimate Fighter. Some guys that knocked out Kimbo.
I'm trying to think who the guy was that. I think he was Amir Sadala. I think Amir Sadala was up at this event as well, and that's why I said that.
And it turned into the bedlam that it is now. Steve Cofield and Luke Thomas are over there chatting.
That was a big deal because I had both of those guys on my show all the time. Cofield was out in Vegas, did a radio show. I don't know what he's doing now. I think he was in town to cover the UFC, and they both came out to an event that I was doing. So as a wannabe MMA guy, it was a big deal that both of those guys were hobnobbing at my event.
Bella Bushrib is here offering nothing. Mark.
Oh my God.
Offering nothing. Mark.
Look at that fucking hair. Look at that hair on Barty. There's Doug the intern behind him there. Holy shit, I forgot about... Why was he growing his hair out? Does anybody know? Long hair Dukes is weird. I've had long hair most of my life, Brian, if you can believe it or not. If you watch all the mainstream mafia movies, I had hair down to the middle of my fucking back. I don't have the face for it. My face is too severe, and it's real long and straight. So this was in the middle of a growing out period. I don't know why Barty's growing his hair out. This is a fucking helmet hair that he's got going on here. But I do remember it. I remember it being very sweaty. This was the era where Barty was carrying... these little towelettes around in his pocket that would absorb oil off your face. And I'm not kidding you. He would wipe his face 700 times in a 2-hour period. And he kept saying it was because he didn't want to be an oily, disgusting foreigner. That was his reason for doing that. And I was like, Othello, we're at a strip mall in fucking Manassas in the middle of fucking August. I think everybody else is going to be just as oily and as disgusting as you are.
And I guess what we're going to do is get some reactions from people about the fights and what's going on tonight.
My name is Luke Thomas. I'm the editor-in-chief of BloodyElbow.com.
BloodyElbow.com, chin down, hands up. What's funny is, like, I could never in a million years get Luke to come on my show now if I wanted to. Ain't no fucking way.
I host a show that it rarely airs on 106.7 The Fan.
I got to host it once. I actually got to host MMA Nation one time. It was quite an honor. Luke had his own listeners that knew about mixed martial arts, and I held my own for, I don't know, I forget if it was 1 hour or 2 hours, but it was a lot of fun.
MMA Nation, and I'm here, courtesy of Chad Dukes and others. We're in Afterlife 360 in Manassas. I never come this far out, Sam Clems. I stay.
Sam Clems. That is shaky knee for those of you that are uninitiated.
Liberal joints in D.C. where drinks are $50,000 a pop, but you look around, I mean, this is pretty incredible here. This is guerrilla marketing at its finest. Twitter, Bloody Elbow, Chad Dukes is thefukerton.com, and you've noticed we have pro fighters, UFC matchmaker.
Thefukerton.com. Did any of you read thefukerton.com? That was your pal's foray into the blogosphere. Goddamn. Forgot about the Fukerton.com. Does everybody know what a Fukerton is? Just for all the noobs. The Fukerton, of course, my Christian name is Bradley Fukerton III, but that's too much to pronounce or ask people to say, so I shortened it to Chad Dukes. The Fukerton was a maneuver that I talked about on the radio that became so synonymous with me that it got added to Urban Dictionary. It might still be there. I haven't checked in a while. But it was a maneuver when you would wait for your better half to get out of the shower, and then as they were walking into the bedroom to change or whatever, you would tackle them from behind so that they were leaning forward and then eat their ass. That was called the Fukerton, and I invented it, and I'd say I perfected it back in my mid-20s. We won't say with who. They probably would rather forget all that, but consensual, of course. But yeah, that became common knowledge on the show, and so it became known as the Fukerton because of me, and then that was the name of my blog, thefukerton.com. I think that's where we actually hosted the Rodcast. Can we get long hair Dukes back? I would need to lose 100 pounds. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, more unattractive than a big fat guy I could just end the sentence there. But a big fat guy with long hair is even worse. I mean, it's just terrible.
Joe Silva, the guy who knocked out Kimbo, it's not so bad. And of course, we have a guy here with poor lighting, videographer for everyone. So obviously, I'll formally thank Chad for putting this together. This is pretty amazing.
No problem.
I did what little I could with Bloody Elbow, but go Uriah.
So what happened was Shaky just got Luke.
I wish he was closer to my face. I wish you could see more unopened pores on my nose and cheek.
Thomas's.
I'm gonna edit them.
Yeah, and I want you to edit this in
There's Barty in the background lurking.
first, and I want you to leave this part in, you motherfucker. So Shaky got Luke Thomas's reaction, but he didn't get Steve Cofield's reaction, who writes for Yahoo Sports about MMA and interviews Dana White probably every 48 hours. So now Shaky's got to walk back over there and ask Steve for his reaction after he already was over there, bitching and moaning. Should be fun. Shouldn't be awkward at all.
What's up? Good crowd out here. Actually, and I'm back in Vegas, so this is very cool that they got a nice turnout. And it's a good card. Mike Brown looked really good, and it's a neat party. I like to see this, that MMA is growing this much around the country, so good deal.
Daniel Barnes, owner of Afterlife 360. The turnout was awesome, bro. We put it all over Facebook. These guys really came out. Luke stepped up. All the fighters stepped up. Chad, the whole cast of the Rodcast, they took care of us.
The whole cast of the Rodcast, they took care of us. We almost had it. We were almost there. Fuck. If we just could have kept it together, if I just wasn't unbearable to work with, we could have made that happen. Can you fucking believe that? It's going to be real weird for everybody that's older than I am, that has every single minute of their life on videos all over social media, all over the phones. I mean, to hit a time capsule like that was super weird for me personally. I found this one too. This won't mean a lot to some of you, but it was fun for me to find. I guess Shaky, and I forgot about this, when the station flipped formats from WJFK over to 106.7 The Fan, and it went from sports, it went from comedy or interesting radio to boring radio, sports. Shaky Knee, who was our intern and filmed all the Mainstream Mafia videos, he kept his job filming videos for 106.7 The Fan. And this is one of those videos, and it features an incredibly young Grant Paulson, who was at some point, I guess, the Wizards beat reporter for 106.7 The Fan. You know, Mike O'Mara always bangs on about how I stole his job, and I think he claims he's kidding, but I know that he's not, which is fine. But this is Grant, the Wizards beat reporter, who now, of course, is hosting my show, It Afternoon Drive, on 106.7 The Fan. So it happens to all of us, Mike. I don't think you'll ever see this, but if you do, just know you are not alone, my friend. I thought this was fucking hilarious.
The Washington Wizards on this night, not good enough to hang with the Orlando Magic. From the Verizon Center, Grant Paulson for 106.7 The Fan.
God bless Grant. Can you fucking imagine this is the way you have to come up in the game? Like, the way I fucking came up in the game was I interned, and then I was able to get a show that could be about more than just talking about fucking Wizards magic. And fucking Grant had to sit there and be the Wizards beat reporter and the Nationals beat reporter and the Commies beat reporter and just find, okay, now I got an airship. I mean, God bless him. He got into the game much earlier than some did, but I couldn't fucking do it. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do this. I don't know how old Grant is here. He might be 20. He might be 30. I have no idea. Grant's always had a kind of a baby face. And if you guys have never seen it, Grant got into the business when he was a kid. Grant was on Dave Letterman because he was a kid beat reporter. But oh my God, can you imagine reporting on Wizards magic in the middle of the week for 106.7 The Fan? Listen to this website, by the way. I have a story about this.
Good enough to hang with the Orlando Magic. From the Verizon Center, Grant Paulson for 106.7 The Fan, DC.com.
106.7 The Fan, DC.com. Do you want to guess why the website was named 1067thefandc.com. Does anybody want to guess? I'll give you a couple of seconds. Let's give you a couple of seconds to listen to a little more Grant, and we'll come back, because it's embarrassing, I'll tell you that much. Not Grant, the website URL.
Wizards losing 109-95 on this Saturday evening. They just didn't have enough post play. Dwight Howard dominant, 28 points and 15 rebounds as Washington loses its 7th consecutive game.
Imagine anyone caring about the Washington Wizards ever. This was 100 years ago. 7 games in a row. Of course we were the Wizards' flagship station. Of course we were. Holy shit, can you imagine paying someone to cover this team?
9th game in its last 10 tries. Worse for the Wizards, a fatigued team that's played 3 games in 3 nights. Here in D.C., then in Detroit, then right back here in Washington because of a snowed-out game that was made up smack dab in the middle of a couple of games.
He's way better at this than I would be. I mean, I can't remember. I couldn't imagine remembering all this shit. I think at some point he fucking like has a little notepad or something. But imagine that you have to sit there and not only know about the Wizards, but actually purport to care about them. I'd rather just bag groceries. I'd rather say, you know what, maybe radio is not for me. If this is what I got to do to get in the radio, go fuck yourself. I'll be asking paper and plastic, or do you have a reusable bag, sir? You can get 5 cents off your tab.
That were supposed to have been played in the district. The Wizards just didn't have the energy it took to contend in this ball game after a great first quarter. Washington came out running on fumes and looked terrific. They were plus 13 after the first frame. They scored 33 points. Andre Blatch couldn't miss. And then
Andre Blatch was a thing at some point.
And things changed pretty considerably. Washington in the second quarter was outscored by 19 points. They gave up 41 points. Orlando missing just 4 shots all quarter. Again,
poor Grant having to sit here with shaky knee recording video for a fucking website that nobody looked at, that got 0 traffic. I'll tell you what got traffic on the 1067 The Fan website in these days. The Junkies podcast. And that was fucking it. That was the only thing people were going to that station for.
Dwight Howard leading the way. He was unconscious down low, had a couple of huge dunks that brought the supposedly Washington-based crowd to their feet. Couple of good signs for the Wizards tonight.
Of course, the fucking Dwight Howard slam dunked a basketball and everybody inside the Verizon Center went nuts. I mean, there is no more abysmal sports franchise in the history of mankind. So the funny thing about it is, the reason why when we launched the station, 1067 The Fan, the 1067 The Fan DC.com was the website, is because they didn't think to squat on 1067thefan.com. And some fucking listener or some, there might have been like an intriguing story behind it too. It might have been someone kind of famous in the market, or at least somebody that actively reached out to the station and tried to ask for money for that website. But they launched the station before they actively grabbed the fucking, well, maybe they didn't even launch it, but people found out about it. They didn't squat on the website, so then they had to buy 1067thefandc.com. And let me tell you something. Nobody got that right. For like there were so many emails sent. There were meetings about it. You got to remember it's DC.com. They were obsessed with people going to the website. Nobody did. That was a fucking mess. That whole thing was a mess. But then again, they're still there, and I'm still here. Oh, happy 4th of July, Travis Litch. I feel like I haven't seen you in a coon's age. Good to see you, my friend. I'm glad you are here with us. We've got a lot to get here through here today. When should we start drinking? You guys drinking? I haven't decided if I'm going to start drinking yet. But, I mean, I've decided I'm going to start drinking, but I haven't started drinking yet. All right, do you guys want to do scary or do you want to do fun? What do you prefer? Scary or fun for the next story? I've got thoughts on both. Thinking about taking my shirt off. Rhett says he's drinking. That's very good. Very good, Rhett. It's one of those days. I think you can fucking pop the top at 9 a.m. and no one's going to give you shit on Independence Day. Okay. Have you all heard? Because here's what happens when I do this. I am a fairly worldly man. You guys hear me when I host the shows. I know a little bit about a lot of stuff. A little bit about sports, a little bit about movies, a little bit about music, a little bit about beer, soda, marketing, food. I don't know a lot about anything. Maybe Mortal Kombat. But I know a little bit about a lot. And I keep up to date with the modern world. Like, I'll open up a newspaper. I look at Twitter. Like, I try to keep abreast at the goings on in this turkeyverse of ours. So when I'm doing a show with a bunch of guys and none of them have seen Godfather, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how A leads to B, because all those fucking guys, they live in the same world that I do, and they clearly like the show. So I don't know how you can go through your average daily life and not be aware that 28 years later has made $100 million. Just a little piece of fucking information. It's tough for me. But what happens is, when I have a moment of transparency and I admit to my audience that I am ignorant to something, they use that as an opportunity to land on me like a sumo wrestler. Get up onto that top rope, those big red tights and that big black thong and the tight braids, and start bouncing up and down, and then black Yokozuna bomb on the shootster. So I'm going to admit something right now, and there's going to be at least 3 people in the chat that claim to be experts. That claim to, I eat it all the time, I knew about this, how could you not? It happens all the fucking time. And I always respond the same way when that does happen. I say, why didn't you tell me? Why don't you let your pal know? Shootster likes to be put up on shit. I'm not going to hold it against you. I don't like it when you send me Instagram reels or TikToks to watch in my DM. I'll never click on them. Never. Nobody listens to me. I might go through and make a list of all the motherfuckers that just decide to not listen to me and send me a bunch of videos to watch that I never click on. I never respond to them. I never like them. And they go forth unfettered. It doesn't stop them. I got to give Matthew Gross a big verbal nod. He just ordered a signed Ponytails and Cocktails test pressing off of CommonwealthDryGoods.com. I didn't even ask you guys to order off CommonwealthDryGoods.com. Thank you, Matthew Gross.
I mean, that's just what we do around here.
Oh my God! What the fuck is going on?
I mean, you know what? Maybe I can't imagine it. Order a record from CommonwealthDryGoods.com. We got some good ones up there. Buy a turntable and get into records. If you like fucking music, you should be doing that anyway. Here's the Fun Boys. Fun Boys going to be light this afternoon. Thank you, Matthew. Corey Reed is in the chat. Hello, Corey. I sent you a news story about some type of chip like 15 years ago. It only took me one time to learn my lesson. Thank you, Corey. Corey, come by the shop tomorrow. I have a very special item for you. I saw an item that I absolutely thought you would love, so I picked it up for you. That don't mean we're going to take long showers together or anything, but just giving you a heads up. I will be working tomorrow from 12 to 5 at Commonwealth Dry Goods if you guys would like to stop by. Are you all familiar with liver mush? Is anybody in the chat familiar with liver mush? And did you know, because I didn't, booga, that there is an entire festival in North Carolina based on liver mush? Were we aware of it?
Hey folks, we're in Shelby, North Carolina for a wonderful festival. It's all about mush, music, and mutts. Let's take a look.
Man, this guy is a shitload of fun, and I'm going to figure out where he buys his vests, and I'm going to get him one in every color of the homo rainbow. Don't be afraid to let your color shine.
One thing's for sure, at a liver mush festival, you've got to have lots of liver mush. In Shelby, there's plenty of it to go around.
So are we moving to Shelby or what? Like, what's the plan here? Are we all just going to fucking pitch in? Like, I'm thinking we could, like, there's one of two ways that we can go about this. We can either find, like, a neighborhood that has townhouses in it and we each buy our own townhouse. But the idea that I like even more is we pool our resources and we all buy one giant house. And it's a content house, and we're having fucking podcasts, and we put a pool in the backyard, and we're frying turkeys, and we're growing mushrooms, and we're fucking smoking that dank Chiba, and maybe we start a commune, maybe it turns into a cult, maybe we turn into some weird 70s jumpsuit wearing fucking zombie ninjas like the end of 28 years later. Because after watching this, there's no way we're not moving to Shelby, North Carolina together, right? I mean, that would just be foolhardy.
So, Jackie, my gosh, this is the big day. Tell us about your festival.
Well, it is a celebration of a regional food found only in this part of North Carolina, but here it's on every menu. We have Sushi Dojo is here, and they have a liver mush roll. It's called the Hee Haw roll. It has liver mush in the roll, in addition to some other foods.
Sure.
And then we also have Max Jenkins and Frank Poirier liver mush here.
If Max and Jenkins, what is his name? Max and Pete Mashville. If they're there, we're moving there. Do they explain to us what liver mush is? Maybe that would be helpful.
Long time, and I bet our four-legged friends are getting their share of it today. Well, Ron, tell us what's going on here today.
We're cooking liver mush.
So is this Scrapple? Like, what is this? Is this Scrapple? Because it's not liverwurst. And why in the fuck would, if you were going to name a product, all kidding aside, because I'm all in. I am down. I am down. But all kidding aside, why in the fuck would you name your product liver mush if you wanted to get people into it? There's got to be a better way to go about this. How about grainy food brick? Bartholomew Cubbins and the grainy food brick. I mean, this has to be Scrapple, right? But down there, it's liver. I think there's some like parameters where it has to be a certain amount pig liver. If I'm not mistaken, I'm sure all you Google experts can find out.
Right?
Liver mush, yeah.
Now, your company's Max, right? So you've been making liver mush how long?
Since 1933.
1933.
Somebody look up Max Liver Mush in Shelby, North Carolina right now. I'm asking you in the chat. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. Look it up. And then figure out how far away it is from Commonwealth Dry Goods, because that is the pilgrimage. That's the train. That's the crazy train that we're going to be riding when we head on down to Shelby, when we make the great migration to liver mush country.
Good for that age, don't
You certainly, he's doing good for 1933. So for those of our viewers who are not sure about what liver mush is, tell us what this delicacy is.
It is a liver product, pork liver, and I tell people it's a fine ground, fully cooked, low-fat sausage.
Okay.
The same spices sausage has,
right,
without the fat, but we put cornmeal in instead of all the fat.
Right.
And
that is very interesting. So technically, do we think liver mush is healthier than sausage because it's not as fat? That can't be, right? Like frying a piece of Scrapple. I mean, it just has to be directly fucking, the paralysis, it must shoot through all of your respiratory system, all of your ventriculars. I mean, your whole body should shut down.
it is pre-cooked, but people still do go ahead and, deep fry it or bake it in the oven or just heat it in the microwave. But it is pre-cooked. It's already cooked, ready to eat when you get it.
Okay, so you can pick it up at the supermarket and just open the pack and start eating.
You can do that. That's what they done in the liver mush eating contest.
We saw
That's what they
that.
done.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Is that maple syrup on the table? Is that grape jelly on the table? You can eat your liver mush with jelly or syrup. I prefer syrup. These heroes are ripping open a brick, a gray brick. Those look like fire starters to me. I don't know if you've ever bought the Duraflame Fire Starter brick to start your fire pits. It looks exactly like that. And again, I'm not but I am a little confused. I see ketchup, I see mustard, I see maple syrup, and I see grape jelly. What is the proper condiment for a liver mush noob? Because I got to know. I got to get there. I got to get to where I'm an expert. And we're going to have a liver mush eating contest on the Chad Duke Show. I mean, how can you not? Is that a young child down at the very end? If a young child can do it, then all of the child-brained waterheads that are surrounding my program certainly can handle it. Who should we tap for the liver mush eating festival? Because we're going to go to this festival, and we're going to move to Shelby, clearly. But we also have to start, assimilating this to our collective. This has got to be our thing. We're liver mush guys now.
Eating it cold.
Yeah, that's right. So you deep fry it. So is that a favorite way of cooking?
It's favorite because it puts a crunch on it. It's not the healthiest way to eat it, but it's the best way to eat it.
Okay.
But at home, a lot of times we'll just put a little butter in the pan and put it in there and fry it. Because liver mush is so low in fat, it'll stick to the pan. It doesn't make its own grease.
Okay.
You're high in protein, we're low in fat, low in cholesterol, moderate in carbs, but none come from sugar.
Okay, all right. Some people like
this fucking guy could sell liver mush to an Eskimo.
Liver mush plain. What do you see as being the favorite?
I see with mustard. Mustard. A lot of people eat jelly. Some people eat mayonnaise, but very few.
I'm gonna fucking puke.
Ketchup.
Right.
And a lot of people eat it plain.
Just eat it plain.
Eat it plain. Yep.
Okay.
I gotta say, if I see anyone eating liver mush, if you're with me on my fucking pilgrimage down to Shelby, and I watch you even look longingly at a bottle of fucking mayonnaise, that's it. You're out of the collective. I'm gonna take all your shit, have it drug out of your house and your room and the house we're gonna buy. It's gonna get put out on the fucking corner, changing the locks, calling the cops. Some people put mayonnaise on liver mush. Some people just want to watch the world burn. Mary Lou says 6 hours and 25 minutes from Fairfax to Marion. Are you saying that liver mush place is in Marion? I'm doing it. I mean, it won't be 6 hours once I fucking live there. It won't be 6 hours once that's my new abode.
So you're in line now for a liver mush sandwich, right?
Yeah, well, they are. I'm waiting on one.
They are?
Yeah.
You're not going to have one too?
No.
Way to interview the person that isn't going to eat the product. Why wouldn't you interview the people that are going to eat the product? And look at that blonde chick in the middle of the frame. Hey, she is hating on the fact that she's not getting interviewed by our buddy Tack Vest Sweater Man. Tack Vest Sweater Man wants nothing to do with that Carolina 4, and she is pissed off. Hey.
Not right now.
No?
Not right now.
You're going to have one? Yes. Okay, ma'am. How do you like your liver mush sandwich?
Some mustard on it.
Mustard?
Chili.
Chili?
Look at that. Teeth in the background there.
Okay, all right. So mustard and chili. All right, that's good. How about you, sir?
Mustard and chili.
Mustard and chili.
I fuck up a mustard and chili liver mush. I don't even know what it tastes like, but I have never had anything. You put it in a man's ass. It's got to taste amazing. Why isn't mustard? Here's a question for all of us. Why isn't chili a more readily available condiment in this country? Why isn't chili something that we all have readily available? I mean, chili is by far a better condiment than ketchup. You get a hot dog and you have the option to put chili on it or ketchup? The fuck are you saying? What are we even talking about here? There should be a chili bin everywhere they serve food. If you have a Fixins bar, there better be a pot of chili that we can all enjoy and festoon our bedchambers with. I got to say, the super chats are very slow today, but people are supporting, and I greatly appreciate that. It's got a beautiful Venmo here. Absolutely gorgeous Venmo. My good friend Elizabeth Hannafin of Courtney and Elizabeth. Thank you so much for the Venmo. This is very, very kind. Venmo cuts out all of the goddamn fees associated with dealing with the internet. So thank you so much for that, Elizabeth. Thank you for watching. Appreciate that. You know I get butt sized.
I'm butt sized.
If you'd like to Venmo, it is venmo.com/Chad Dukes or @Chad Dukes.
You put slaw on it too?
No, no slaw.
No slaw?
Haven't tried it, but I might try it.
Ma'am?
Yes.
All right. How do you like your liver mush sandwich?
Extra crispy with a little bit of mustard.
Extra crispy, a little bit of mustard. Now they're deep frying these. How do you make yours at home?
We don't deep fry it. We put it on the pan and just flip it.
Okay, and just flip it. Now, do you do yours for breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Breakfast and sometimes dinner.
Well, tell us about the area that we're in, this historic square.
Our new neighborhood.
This is the historic court square because we still have the original courthouse. Well, the original courthouse was actually a barn, but once they built a permanent structure, we still have that as our backdrop.
There's a lot of hot chicks in North Carolina.
And it's just
I don't know about that one with the belly shirt.
a nice backdrop. We have very wide streets around the courthouse, so it's a good central spot. And it's a place that people are used to gathering, so that makes it convenient as well. But we do take up the entire block of the court square and then go another block to the farmers market pavilion and tie in the farmers market with the festival.
Okay, so this is important because, as we all know, we're now moving to Shelby. But I don't know when the relocation is going to take place, so we need to make plans beforehand to be at the NC Liver Mush Festival, Mush, Music, and Mutts. Clearly, it's dog friendly. And as you can say and see, the save the date has been updated for 2025. And we're locked and we're stocked and we're ready to rock. October 18th, 2025, Uptown Shelby. That Uptown Mush gonna give it to you. Festival schedule. Let's take a look. All right, more information coming soon. It looks like there's a liver mush eating contest. Registration will open September 2025. Each participant is provided with bottled water, scissors, a knife, a tray of packaged cold Max liver mush, condiments, paper towels, and a trash can just in case, vomitosis. This is fully cooked and safe for consumption straight from the package, and many prefer to eat it this way. The awards ceremony will occur after the final round is complete. The 2024 eating contest was generously sponsored by Teddy Meeks and Talbert. Teddy Meekins and Talbert. That is a misspoke in sponsored by me. And I apologize because they paid good money for that. The Liver Mush Legacy, a tasty exploration programs, noon at 2 p.m. open. Well, I can't wait. I'll go to the Earl Scruggs Center for that. Maybe I'll hammer claw my fucking banjo afterwards. All right, so here's the question. Do we sponsor the Liver Mush Eating Contest in 2025? Does Commonwealth Dry Goods or the Chad Duke Show or Scary Octopus Records or Fish Hat Summer or the Virginia Pizza Crusade, the Fortress Film Society, I don't know which arm of Empire is the longest, but do we reach out and offer to sponsor the Liver Mush Eating Contest and then ask for a brick of tickets? If you would have told me this was filmed in 2004 or 2024, I'd have believed you either way. Yeah, fucking absolutely. I mean, there's just absolutely no telling the difference between time stops down there, and for that reason, we got to go.
So It's a great family event.
It's a wonderful family event.
Why does Spider-Man have...
Jackie, with 15,000, 20,000 people coming to town, that has...
Wonderful family event.
What's with fucking effeminate Spider-Man with the Captain America shield and the Chihuahua? I'm going to insist we look at this gentleman's hard drive. I'm not trying to speak anything into actuality, but that's just the way that...
Jackie,
it's the way that I live my life.
with 15,000, 20,000 people coming to town, that has to have some type of impact on the area, right?
It definitely does. We're seeing a lot more overnight travel.
Look at that dude in the background. Is that a fucking... the gentleman in the overalls and the red shirt? Does he have a rat tail coming off the back of that shaved head? Somebody tell me if that gentleman has got a rat tail that he's letting grow
To come to the event
off the back of that head.
market pavilion and tie in the farmers market with.
Has to have some type
Look at that.
of impact on the area, right?
It definitely does.
Maybe not. I think that's just a part of the ledge against the steps behind him. I don't think that's hair. Can anyone confirm?
It's a wonderful family event.
Jackie, with 15,000, 20,000 people.
I wouldn't bet my life on it either way. But that is a hell of a look. That's a look that I think that is a severe face. The chin not as strong as you need to pull off that look. I think a hat is absolutely required. Is he wearing goggles? I think these are sunglasses. I couldn't swear to it.
Coming to town, that has to have some type
Boy, it's a whole different ball game when he stares right at the camera, isn't it?
of impact on the area, right?
It definitely does. We're seeing a lot more overnight travel to come to the event.
You're going to see a lot more too, sweetie pie.
Now that it's 2 days with the North Carolina Brew Fest and Chili Cook-Off on Friday.
Get the fuck out of here. The North Carolina Chili Cook-Off and Brew Fest is on Friday. We're taking a long weekend in Shelby, friendos. Let's fucking get it. Nathan is saying there's a squirrel on his shoulder. What? Well, hold on a second here.
Event.
It's a wonderful family event.
Jackie, with 15,000, 20,000 people coming to town, that has to have some type of
Who's got a squirrel on his shoulder? Not the buzzed-headed hillbilly.
impact on the area, right?
It definitely does. We're seeing a lot
Does somebody else have a squirrel?
more overnight travel to come to the event, to the festival.
I'm fucking hawk-eyed over everybody in the background now.
Now that it's 2 days with the North Carolina Brew Fest and Chili Cook-Off on Friday,
Somebody please look that up.
it gives people a reason to come and spend the night and then come back the next day.
Okay.
So we're seeing a pretty huge impact from that.
Music, Mush, and Mutts. October 20th, 21st. Uptown Funk, baby. We got to get on that banner. We got to get on that banner. Looks like they reused the banner from last year, and they just put an additional banner over to update the sponsors. I want to be on that additional banner for 2025.
But what we really get from having the Liver Mush Festival is a lot of publicity because people are very interested in a food that's as quirky and crazy.
Right.
And so it's also a lot of advertising and promotion for our area. It says Shelby. It just speaks Shelby to have a Liver Mush Festival.
I mean, I'm sold. Say less. All right, so we're going to sponsor the Liver Mush Eating Contest. What else? Vendors, sponsors. Let's take a look. Be a community partner. Would you like to have a substantial marketing presence during the festival and through the pre-festival PR and marketing? Consider festival sponsorship. All sponsors have the option of a booth in a prime location on the square. Sponsorships start at $600. That's affordable. Emily Epley. Well, I don't want to work this motherfucker, though, is the problem. Like, if I have to have a booth, does that mean I have to be at the booth? Maybe I would just get Ant-Man to work the booth, and he could, like, just be sitting there casually drinking long necks of Miller Lite the entire fucking afternoon. Uh-oh. We got an update. We got it. Oh, my God. Breaking news. Breaking news. Who wants to do the sounder? Make a note. I have to get a breaking news sounder for this show for just these moments. Getting some breaking news. Oh, my God. I can't even show that picture on YouTube. Oh, my God. Who in the chat right now can Photoshop for me real quick? I just need you to put a little Chad Duke Show logo over a photograph. That's all I need. Turn on YouTube. I mean, this fool... I guess I've made some of the same mistakes over and over and over again in my life. Like, I guess it's possible that I have. Certainly when it comes to drinking too much or eating too much. But when it comes to getting wickedly fucking sunburnt, especially when I know that I am a ginger, translucent... Jeff Schools, you can? All right, I'm going to send you a photo, Jeff. Don't share it with anybody. Monk is texting me. I'm about to cover these pictures. Give me 1 second. Jeff, I'm going to send you a photo. I just need you to put a Chad Duke Show logo over a butt crack, okay? Where is he? There he is. I got him. Give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. What a fucking monster. I mean, just unbelievable. I don't know how you find yourself in a situation like this. Shit. Let me tell you something about iPhones. I like an iPhone. They do a lot of things well. But sending pictures in an HEIC format, that ain't it. TPG, please. Okay. I apologize for this. This is breaking news. Breaking news. For those of you that are just tuning in, earlier in the program, we showed you this photo of Tony Slices. He is currently down at the beach with Monk. We're out at a sandbar, a physical sandbar, not a bar that's called the Sandbar, drinking, partying. He had this incredibly wide stance. He had this enormously large set of board shorts. And as you can see in this photo, he's incredibly pale. As you can see in this photo, he's incredibly pale. We had no idea why his legs are this far apart. I mean, quite frankly, I'm disturbed. We think it has something to do structurally with how unconventionally and genetically Ant-Man is predisposed. I have no fucking idea. You would think with legs as girthy as his, that they could support his upper body. It doesn't look like it here. That was just the beginning. As I was just sent this photo where Ant-Man was apparently in the sun all day and is completely sunburnt to shit. Men are rubbing him down with aloe as we speak. I cannot even explain to you how many times this has happened. God love him. I mean, Ant-Man lives a life some consider a meth. He's got men of means fighting over him. Charlie Bruce, Mike Sleep, Money Monk, Joe Azer has thrown his hat into the fray. He wants to take Ant-Man to Egypt. I say to you, Joe, you can't take him to Egypt. He can't go to North Carolina and not expose himself to melanoma and skin cancer. Schools is able to send me this photo back of this other picture that I have in my possession. I probably should ask if I can use it, but if there's no nudity, I can't even. Now listen, Jeff, do not cover up all of the white skin. Just cover up the butt crack. That won't be the last time I say something like that today. Josh Kim says the Egyptian sun would fry Anthony. Can you even fucking imagine? I think subconsciously, though, he so much enjoys bitching and kvetching that I think part of this, he's the center of attention. It's everything that he loves. To not know at this point in your life that you need to put sunblock 100 SPF. I mean, this man has no skin. Rhett, thank you for the super chat. We accept super chats on this channel. $4.99. Since he's an NC guy now, Anthony should review liver mash sandwich next BMI. Oh, there's no chance. It's all protein. We're going to fuck up some liver mush. It's not liver mash. It's liver mush. If it was liver mash, it wouldn't be that interesting. No, we're all going to the Liver Mush Festival. It's in October. I'm not even fucking kidding. Everybody's welcome. Thank you for the super chat, Rhett. You're a kind man. Ant-Man wants me to send him the link. All right. I mean, this was not what this show was supposed to be about, Ant-Man. I'm doing a respectable show here. I can't have any racial slurs. I know where you are right now. I know the proclivities of the people you're hanging out with. You got to keep it PG-13. Get this fucking photo back. I'm going to need your commentary. Where are you, Jeff? You're killing me. You're absolutely killing me. Anthony's physique defies physics. It is interesting. It is interesting. Because as Othman Boucherab once put it, he's the most ripped 400-pound dude you'll ever see in your life. I don't know how it works. I just can't even imagine, though, wanting to subject you. Just put the fucking sunscreen on. I got it. We got it. We got it. Here is the photo in question. I can scarcely believe it. I hope the color translates over YouTube. Fucking, this motherfucker is a canned ham. Look at the difference between that back and just think what that's going to be like tonight. He ain't even done curing. I mean, this is skin cancer waiting to fucking happen. How did it get such amazing coverage? How did he cook so evenly? How can you sleep like that? I mean, he's just going to have to be blackout drunk for the remainder of the trip. I mean, how else would you do it? How else would you go about your day? I mean, I don't know. I don't know why he can't ever learn a lesson. I mean, if you just put sunblock 35 on, a light dusting every hour or so, look at the color contrast between them cheeks clapping and the upper dorsimus. And why wouldn't you get a haircut? Why wouldn't you get trimmed up? Look at that helmet hair. I just don't know why he doesn't want to have. You can have so much more fun if you just do a couple of little tick boxes, right? Make yourself a punch list, get out a buck slip, write down 5 things, get a haircut, buy a bottle of Bullfrog, apply it once or twice an hour when we're out in the middle of the Atlantic fucking Ocean. And then he asked for the fucking link, and I send him the link, and he won't use the link. You will not hold me hostage, Anthony. Is that a mole or a tattoo? That is a mole. I just heard about the origin story of this tattoo that is on his upper right shoulder, that is a clover, a full clover. Anthony is not Irish. Anthony is Italian. But his redneck uncle that took him to get a fucking tattoo when he was 14 years old told him to get a 4-leaf clover as his first tattoo because it don't hurt much. I just heard this origin story. It's crazy the timing, how this all fits together. So he got that tiny little tattoo, and then it was followed by just more horrific tattoos. That the piece that you see on his left there, I actually think it looks pretty good. It's like a big griffin or something. That's a cover-up. That's a cover-up for all the horrible tattoos. He had a tattoo of somebody cooking dope. I mean, it's just a nightmare. That's where his luck comes from. I mean, that would be so funny if that was the case. Yeah, I don't know how he's going to drive home. I have no idea. How are you going to sit in a fucking car? Monk is way down the Outer Banks. Like, Monk ain't close. So Monk's like an hour past where civilization is in the Outer Banks. So Ant-Man's going to have to drive all the way up that, all the way up the banks, all the way home. And he's going to be traveling on 4th of July weekend. I just can't even fucking imagine.
What up, dude?
Why wouldn't you just buy a bottle of sunscreen? How many times has this happened to you?
Dude, believe it or not, I've been putting SPF 50 on all fucking day.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. Come on.
I swear to God.
Anthony, look at the difference between your butt and the fucking back.
Well, the butt was very well protected.
Why wouldn't you just wear your fishing shirt? Why would you got the shirt that's SPF 50 or whatever it is? Why didn't you wear that while you were out there?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It just fucking. I tried everything. I got really torched. I got that terrible fucking burn line. The worst part is when what.
All right, while I have you, what is going on here? Why are your legs so far apart in this photo?
Well, dude, I'm not a fucking thin man. I gotta fucking prop myself up. You know.
I know a lot of fat people. I don't see any of them standing like this. What is happening here?
I don't know. That's in fuck. You know when you just gotta like hold yourself upright and you gotta be the most comfortable you could be for as long as possible.
No,
legs far apart, fucking center of gravity low. It's like a fucking football stance, dude.
Do you realize that if you were to stay a full week at Monk's house, that you would just come back looking like the host of Tales from a Crypt? I mean, you would never fucking be able to survive. You would just completely be ravaged by the sun and alcohol poisoning.
It might be tomorrow. It might not even take a full week. It might take 3 days. So who knows?
You're telling me that you were wearing sunblock to get your back to look like this?
Yeah. Mug's poor friend James was spraying my back with sunblock all day.
I know. We got the.
That's not James, but
who's that?
That's the guy trying to treat the burn, but there was another guy trying to prevent it.
So you have an army of men that are just there to fucking oil you up at this point. I mean, this is unbelievable. This is breaking news.
Yeah, I mean, look, I probably wouldn't have been so burned if he would have just rubbed it in instead of spraying me with the fucking sunscreen, but nobody was willing to go that far.
Corey Rita is alleging that he told you multiple times to wear sunscreen. Is that true?
Yeah, dude, I have fucking SPF 50. I had it out with me that day.
I can't see that being. Were you swimming constantly? Were you washing it off?
Well, the sandbar disappeared and then we were just in the water. So yeah, I was swimming a lot. Got stung by jellyfish. Monk convinced me to rub
what?
Rub jalapeno mustard on my jellyfish sting to get it to stop burning.
Did it help?
No. It made it so much worse.
Hey man, why would you do that? You have to know he's fucking with you at that moment.
Well, I thought he was a good friend and my leg burned so bad I was willing to do anything.
You think Monk is a good friend? What are the past 5 years has made you believe that?
Yeah, not much. I don't know. I mean, he keeps having me down here, so that accounts for something.
So he gets to physically torture you?
I guess so. Although the Coast Guard tortured him on the way in because
good.
they lit us up, and then they pointed to the right, so we all thought that we had to go to the shore, and then they're like, "No, dummy, we're just taking a right. We're not after you." After this, after Monk threw his beer out, all kinds of shit.
Because you assume they were after you because you're clearly drunk driving in the boat.
Well, allegedly. But look, I was going to dive over the side and sacrifice myself, but it didn't come to that.
How is that going to help anybody? You sacrificing yourself.
They'd have to save the fucking giant flotation device before they could get to the boat.
So you burned from the sun, you burned from a jellyfish, and you burned from the jalapeno mustard.
Yeah. Oh, dude, by the way, the Ruffles fucking hot sour cream chips.
Yeah, they're good.
Whatever those stuff are, dip them in jalapeno pimento cheese,
Anthony,
even better.
How drunk are you right now?
Oh, probably at 10. It's been a long day, dude.
Dude, we watched so much body cam image of boats getting pulled over. When Monk finally does go down, you know we're going to have to fucking go over that on this show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm hoping I'm there for it. I'm going to fight the cops and everything.
No, please don't. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. You've done enough of that in your life.
That's true.
Much longer are you down there with him?
Until Monday.
Fucking, you ain't going to make it 2 more days, man.
No, maybe not. So please do a nice memorial. Tell my parents I love them. Fucking all the fun stuff.
By the way, you're no friend of Monk. I saw the picture you sent Corey of Monk, and I did not show it on this show out of respect to my presenting sponsor. But you are a bad friend also. You are sending unflattering pictures around the fucking internet.
I didn't send. I'm still at Monk's house. Why would you disclose this?
I saw the picture.
It's not a good picture.
Listen to me. If Monk is taking down the photo of him at Monk's, he better not ever see this photo because he'd be apoplectic. You'd never be invited back down to that fucking house again. That rump chat is not loyalty to you. They're loyal to me.
Yeah, I'm starting to find that out. Are they all over at Mark's house right now?
I have no idea. I hope so.
I'm gonna have to find out. I'll do some deep diving.
Go say hi to everybody for me, please.
Yep, I will. See you, bud.
All right, goodbye. Rest and fish. Wasn't expecting all that. You know what that means? You get someone that drunk and sunburnt on your show. Bring them out. He gone. That's right, Red. He gone. Well, I got some boat police body cam footage we're gonna get to today. Knock wood, if we have time. All right, just wrapping things up. I am dead fucking serious. I am booking accommodations as soon as I go upstairs. If you would like to go, and Anthony, I know you're still backstage. If you are watching, why are you still backstage? You're muted, stupid. Oh, he just... You think he was looking up baseball cards? Oh, what a weird show today. Oh, wait, that's not right. There we go. Save the date, October 18th. We're also going to go to the Brewfest the day before. So October 17th and 18th, you are welcome to attend the Mush Festival because we're going. And I think we're going to do some shows. I think we'll cast live. I think I'm going to become a sponsor. I think I'm going to buy this T-shirt. I think it's all happening. So mark that down. Anthony, were you sending? Is he sending chats in the fucking while he's backstage? It's a very strange turn of events. All right. Save the date. We're going. We're going to do something completely different now. I watched this video earlier today, and it legit scared the shit out of me. Humanity is something that I am in awe of. Sometimes I just respect so much of it. The Shackleton story, the story of the Endurance. What an amazing story of survival. Sitting there in the fucking Antarctic Sea. saving the lives of all of your men. 5 guys in a longboat going across the most, what is it, the Drake Passage, Corey? Is that what it's called? Going to part the most dangerous fucking portion of ocean on this blue marble of ours. And you look at humans and you say, God damn, the things that we're fucking capable of. Holy shit. And then I see shit like this. And I ask myself, how did we as humans get this far? And I think maybe because in our Bart of Barts, we have the hearts and minds of explorers. We really do. And because we've explored everything, for the most part, we need to explore the oceans, explore space, the deep woods. But there's no new land for us to conquer here on this planet of ours. So we do crazy shit. Get into squirrel suits, we jump off the top of cliffs, climb up tall buildings with selfie sticks. Wild shit. Wow, $10 super chat. Thank you, Ant-Man. Super chats are at a premium today. Surely, bud, I'm a lottle drunk-ish. Well said, Ant-Man. Thank you for the super chat. I run across places like this and stories like this, and I ask myself, do we as humans deserve to be on this planet? Do we deserve to be the top dogs? Do the dinosaurs need to come back? Do the silverback gorillas need to make a move, Planet of the Apes style, and take us over? Title of this video is the most dangerous dive site in Florida. And that don't do it justice. I watched this whole thing earlier today, and I was absolutely terrified. If you have a fear of driving, this won't be nothing. If you have a fear of bridges, I don't think this will affect you. If you have a fear of drowning, public speaking is what keeps you up at night, you should be fine. But if you're like me, and you got a drowning phobia, this is going to be a tough one for you to experience. But let's take a look.
This is the Eagle's Nest sinkhole in Florida. From the surface, it's just an unremarkable, uninviting, and algae-filled little pond.
Go ahead and give a verbal nod out to a Scary Interesting on YouTube. If you want to watch this, you can go over there to that channel and check it out.
But this view of it is deceptive. At the bottom of this little pond is a 6-foot wide vertical tube leading to a massive pitch-black cave room the size of an airplane hangar. And that is just the beginning. These are the Eagle's Nest cave dive disasters and why it's one of the most dangerous dive sites on Earth. As always, viewer discretion is advised.
Okay, so it's a sinkhole that's got a giant underwater cave at the bottom of it. And I don't know if you guys follow me on X, but when I posted that I was going to go live, I shared this photograph. This photograph is of a sign at the bottom of this fucking cavern. Not at the bottom of the sinkhole, but when you swim through the little channel to get into the big cavern, underwater cavern, somebody placed this sign because so many motherfuckers have died diving into this cave that they said, we need to go hard in the paint. And I don't know if you can read it, but they don't pull any punches. First of all, there appears to be a Grim Reaper with multiple scuba divers dead at his feet. Stop, prevent your death, go no farther. There is nothing in this cave worth dying for. Do not go beyond this point. Now, those are not skulls behind this sign, but it looks like it, and they might as well be. This shit, I don't know why, it hit me in a weird spot. This is beyond creepy. And what this video, well, you know what? Let's just watch it, and then you can comment in the chat. I will comment here, and we can just go through it and ask ourselves the question, why would anybody go and experience this?
Just an hour north of Tampa, Florida, you'll find the Chassahowitzka Wildlife Management Area, which covers about 24,000 acres of forested wetland and sandhills. The area is home to some unique wildlife, like the Florida black bear and several species of endangered snakes, but that's not all. Nestled right in the middle of this massive reserve is a small body of water that looks like a near-perfect circle from the sky. Standing at sea level, though, it's about as nondescript and uninviting as you can imagine. If you didn't know any better, you might swear the algae-infested pool was a haven for alligators, and taking just a few steps onto the boardwalk that leads to the water is usually enough to drive people off.
Can you imagine how humid and mosquito infested? Like, how did they even discover it? Who jumped in to this bog for the first time and decided, oh boy, I'm going to swim to the bottom and see if there's any secret passages? Like, this to me reminds me of oysters. How did the first motherfucker crack an oyster open and eat it with as unappetizing as they look? Yeah, nope is going to be the hard answer for me throughout the course of this viewing party here, Red.
To mosquitoes and ticks. This pool is known as Eagle's Nest and is one of Florida's many sinkholes, which have developed over millions of years of erosion. And while it may seem like an unremarkable pond while standing on its, as always, viewer discretion. Like an unremarkable pond while
look at the algae in this motherfucker. I mean, how many water moccasins? How did we get to the point where we want to go exploring what's underneath this? Do you know how good movies are? This is what I can't understand. Do you know how easy it is to just go sit in an air-conditioned movie theater with a big old Coca-Cola and a box of Junior Mints, and for 2.5 hours just have yourself a grand old time, then go home and maybe grab your wife and kids. Hey, let's go out to eat. Let's go to Texas Roadhouse. They have center cut steaks. We can pick them out. You could spit your peanut shells right on the floor. Get some of that donut bread with the cinnamon butter. Maybe have a couple of brewskis just for you skis. What are we talking about here? What happened in these people's lives where that doesn't sound like fun, but submerging yourself in water moccasin-infused algae mosquito bog and then dying in a cave from asphyxiation? That's what we want to do. No. I'm not going to replay Borderlands 2 for the 400th time. How do you get into cave diving underwater? It's like the X Games. How do you practice flipping a motorcycle 14 times? Where do you go to practice that? Where do you go to practice this? They're going to mention several times in this video, well, you need to be accredited in underwater cave diving. You've got to be able to switch between 3 different gases. Like, why do we even know how to do that? Ooh.
Standing on its banks, those who know what they're looking at see nothing but beauty and adventure. It's for this reason that untold numbers of people flock to it every year from all over the world. That's because what lies below the surface makes Eagle's Nest special. It's a bit cliche at this point, and you've probably heard several caves referred to this way, but according to the cave diving community, Eagle's Nest is another of the Mount Everest of their sport. And much like the actual Mount Everest, it's earned this reputation. The pool itself is not unlike any other pond as you descend the first 20 feet or 6 meters. At around the 20-foot mark though, the pool's bottom forms a basin with what looks like a large drain at the center. In actuality, it's a 6-foot or 2-meter wide vertical tunnel that almost transports divers into another world entirely. At the end of the short tunnel is nothing but expansive pitch black darkness, and that's because the tunnel ends in a place called the ballroom. This room is so big that it's been compared to the size of an airplane hangar.
I mean, do you get agita just from watching this shit? I mean, I can feel the goosebumps already because I can't even begin to not put myself in that 6-foot wide tunnel passage that opens up into the ballroom. Are there roots in there? Are there things you can catch your regulator on, your hoses? Spoiler alert, there is. Spoiler alert, this map that we're seeing now is going to be used many, many times throughout this video to show where the fucking corpses are.
And cave divers who've experienced the ballroom say that being inside it is like being on a different planet or even floating through outer space. If that already wasn't incredible enough, at the very bottom of this massive chamber is a sloped debris pile where divers can choose one of several tunnels to explore. There are 2 downstream tunnels and 1 upstream tunnel. Before they make that choice, however, they're faced with a serious reality check. It can be easy for divers to get caught up in all there is to see inside the Eagle's Nest, but a sign was installed to shock visitors to the cave back to Earth. This sign is the infamous sign featuring a drawing of a Grim Reaper standing over several fallen divers, and the sign reads, quote, "Stop, prevent your own death, go no further," end quote.
I guess that's algae that's grown over. This one looks like it's been replaced. If you recall, the one that I showed you, it looks like it has plastic tubing on it. But also, now that I'm watching this again, it is possible that this sign is in multiple caves. It's possible this is not the only cave that it's in, because that looks incredibly different, does it not? It's covered in algae. It looks like it has a metal frame. I wonder if they've replaced it over the years. I wonder if it's something you have to go down there and update every once in a while. That looks way different. DC Sports Mark, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Happy Independence Day, everybody. And the same to you, my friend. Holy shit. We usually only get this type of super chat on a Friday night. $50 super chat. That is a pink boy, as it is called on the internet. Late to the stream tax. Thank you for upgrading the audio. Sounds amazing. Thank you so much, sir. I'm glad you noticed. Pouring down rain all day here in South Texas. Firework vendors are distraught. Good. Fuck them. Fuck fireworks. Seriously. I know a lot of you guys like them, but fuck them sideways. They drive my dog insane. I can't stand it. Thank you so much, William. Clearly the biggest super chat we have received today, and so you get the greatest story of all time.
All right, we're here at Plaza Azteca, the Outer Banks. And, hey, man, this is the spot where it happened, correct?
Yep. I had some Pacificos, and I got a little bubbly.
What does that mean?
My stomach was churning, and I walked outside, and projectile vomited right next to this car here. And
Jim was loogieing over there.
Jim's fat right here.
All right, well, let's reenact it real quick. So, Brian will play the role of the girl having her quinceañera.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh my gosh, I'm just here having my quinceañera at Plaza Azteca. What is the man with no eyelids doing?
It's fucking great, man.
I was there. That's exactly how it went down. Thank you, William. That is for you, my friend. Thank you for the beautiful super chat. All right, let's see how many bodies get laid out in this stupid fucking groggy sinkhole in Florida.
And is the infamous sign featuring a drawing of a Grim Reaper standing over several fallen divers, and the sign reads, quote, "Stop, prevent your own death, go no further," end quote. Below this impossible to miss warning are several facts about just how dangerous Eagle's Nest can be, and that goes for even the most experienced and certified cave divers. At the very minimum, divers who enter Eagle's Nest are advised to be fully certified in cave diving, hold a certification in Trimix, which is a gas mixture for deep dives, and have a wealth of experience inside deep caves.
So they've got to be able to not only scuba dive, but to cave dive. I don't know if anybody feels like looking up what that takes, what type of a time and cast investment it is to learn how to cave fucking dive safely, but I'd love to know. And then this trimix they're talking about is because it's so goddamn deep that at some point, if you just breathe oxygen, you're going to start getting all fucked up. You might start to hallucinate, and then you're probably going to die. I can't tell you how many of the people that they talk about that end up going tits up in this place are experienced divers that know what they're doing. Hit the like button. For God's sakes, we're covering death.
And even divers who meet all those specifications are recommended to dive Eagle's Nest for the first time with someone extremely familiar with the cave. And finally, the very bottom of the sign reads, quote, "There's nothing in this cave worth dying for," end quote. So what is it about Eagle's Nest that makes it such a dangerous dive, yet simultaneously incredible enough for people to keep entering? With a map depth of 310 feet or 95 meters, it's not the deepest cave ever covered on the channel, but it's definitely at or near the top of the list in terms of the most challenging. To date, at least 13 people have...
Look how long that is. I mean, look how fucking long and...
310 feet or 95 meters. It's not the deepest cave ever covered on the channel, but it's definitely at...
Look at that. Look how far it extends in either direction. And, I mean, you can see how narrow it gets in certain spots. I mean, if you get turned around... I don't know what you prove by doing this. It has to be some kind of addiction, right? You have to be some type of adrenaline junkie. I mean, should we look at this any differently than we look at somebody that is addicted to drugs or alcohol or caffeine or overeating or buying credits for a mobile telephone game? Like, what about this is anything but addiction? To take a risk like this for absolutely nothing other than, it has to be narcissism, right? You want to have those endorphins hit. You want to be able to have that experience and go back to your online chat room and say, I went down into this place with your tiny little group of people that are into this little fiefdom. It's wild, man. And where do you draw the line? I don't know. Like, I wanted to go see the Mothman statue, see the bridge where it collapsed. Like, I wanted to have that experience, but it put me at very little risk. This is incredibly selfish. I mean, I don't want to not have fun with this, but it's difficult for me to think, like, you can't have any respect for anyone in your life if you take risks like this for diversion. Like, this isn't your job. This is something that you're doing for relaxation.
We're near the top of the list in terms of the most challenging. To date, at least 13 people have lost their lives inside since 1981, and while that might seem like an unimpressive number, consider that a study that looked at cave diving between 1985 and 2015, which is a 30-year period, determined that there were 161 American cave diving fatalities. The two time periods we're talking about don't line up perfectly, but Eagle's Nest would still account for 8% of those deaths, or put
8% of all cave diving deaths are from...
Another way, for every 11 cave deaths that occurred in the US, one of them occurred in the Eagle's Nest system, despite there being hundreds of caves to dive in across the US. Like, for example, on Christmas Day in 2013, Darren and his son Dylan entered Eagle's Nest for a dive together.
You think they live? All right. Corey Rita just sent me over something. Let's take a look at this. Try to get an idea on what it takes to get certified to even attempt something like this. This is from Google. Becoming a certified cave diver typically requires a minimum of 9 to 10 days of training, encompassing both classroom and water instruction, with a minimum of 20 training dives. The training is often broken down into smaller segments to allow drivers to absorb material to refine their skills before progressing. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Introductory cavern course. Initial phase takes 5 to 6 days, focuses on basic cave diving skills, including navigating with guidelines, managing air supply, and basic problem solving. Full cave course. The more advanced course, usually another 5 to 6 days, build upon the introductory skills, focusing on more complex navigation, penetrating into deeper areas, I'm getting agita, of the cave and handling more challenging situations. Total train time, combining the courses, 9 to 10 days of training. Dive requirements, a minimum of 20 training dives with an instructor is generally required to complete a full cave certification. Take breaks in between the introduction and full cave courses to allow skilling and consolidation. So do you have to, like, how do they monitor this? How do they, there doesn't seem to be any officials there at the fucking sinkhole. No one's checking licenses. Do they basically just let you know you should have this before you get in here? Because if you don't, you're going to die. Here's another spoiler alert. Every time one of these motherfuckers gets stuck down there, someone's got to go to an emergency diver and get them to go in there and rescue the person. They ain't going to rescue. They're going to fish their fucking body out. It's pretty easy to know the person's dead if they run out of oxygen. We got 2 hours of oxygen. Well, it's been 3 hours. Well, they're dead. There are no other options, regrettably. Oh, I went down this rabbit hole deep today. Deep.
Fit in the requirements, while Darren was fully certified and experienced, Dylan, who was only 15 years old, was not. It's unknown what their dive plan was, but according to the dive computers on their wrists, they went as deep as 233 feet or 71 meters. This is a depth where most divers would switch to a different gas part of the way down to avoid nitrogen narcosis. However, it seems that the father and son didn't, and it's thought that as they descended, they became more and more intoxicated by the regular air under the immense pressure. This then led them to losing track of time and eventually becoming so low in air that they didn't have enough to make it back to the surface. And when they realized they didn't have enough air to make it back, the father and son likely panicked, causing Dylan to rapidly use up what was available in his tanks. When those were depleted, Dylan then switched to a second regulator connected to a long hose on his father's tanks, but with both of them by then breathing from the same supply, this only exacerbated the situation. It's believed that Darren then lost consciousness when the air ran out, and upon noticing that the tanks were empty, Dylan spit the regulator out of his mouth and frantically tried to make it to the surface on a breath hold.
Jesus Christ.
Tragically, however, neither of them survived the incident. Darren's body was later found on the debris pile at the bottom of the ballroom, and Dylan was found floating not far from a spare set of tanks they'd stashed on the way down.
Can you fucking imagine that you had the wherewithal to stash spare tanks on the way down, and you go tits up right next to them? Another spoiler alert, the debris pile is going to get referenced a lot because the bodies tend to hit the floor over on the debris pile. DC Sports Mark 499, thank you for the super chat. Probably one of the worst ways to go. I can't think of a worse way to go. Honestly, I can't. I'm sure there are. Like if you're being drawn and quartered, like William Wallace, I'm sure that's really painful. The problem with this is drowning is a horrible way to go. And then the panic that sets in has got to be like nothing anybody should ever experience. Like when you know, can you imagine your dad's dead, his tank is empty, I'm going to try to hold my breath and swim out. And he's still down in here in the ballroom. You got to swim up this channel and then swim to the top of the bog. Can you imagine what that feels like? And then when you finally realize, I'm going to open my mouth and suck in all this algae-infested water. Holy shit. Thank you, DC Sports Mark. Whatever the benefits are, man, Smokey said it best in Friday. It ain't enough.
And this isn't the only time something like this has happened here. A similar incident was actually the first recorded tragedy at Eagle's Nest. In December of 1981, 29-year-old Terry and her husband Larry came to the sinkhole and were all inside one of the tunnels with 3 other divers. The dive they performed that day was one the couple had performed without an incident several times before, but as Terry held onto Larry's leg while they were heading through a tunnel, she suddenly let go.
Yeah.
A split second later, when Larry turned to look, Terry was motionless in the water with her regulator floating outside of her mouth right beside her. He then desperately tried to get the regulator back into her mouth, but he was unsuccessful, and eventually he lost his grip on her. With not much other choice, he then left his wife and shot back to the surface, where he found a man named Jim Bentz taking photos of the surface pool.
Can you imagine, I'm going to say that a lot during this, but you got to know your wife's dead at that point, right? So maybe you could rationalize that you didn't get her killed, but I'm guessing, without trying to be sexist, that it wasn't her idea to go swim in the most dangerous dive site in Florida. So can you imagine you're still alive, her hand's on your fucking leg, it goes limp, she spits out her respirator, whatever the thing's called. You lose her, then you go to the surface and you now recruit somebody else into this. What if they were to die too? What if they went in there to try to save her and then they kicked off? Are you going to be able to go through life with that burden, knowing that you were responsible with that, for that? Let's hope that's not what happens.
Luckily, it just so happened that Jim was a certified diving instructor and rescue diver, so when he learned from Larry what was going on,
the guy taking pictures of the awful bog just happened to be a dive instructor. How lucky is that? How lucky is that it wasn't sunburn-ass Ant-Man sitting at the top, at the side of the banks of this fucking grimy awfulness with a cooler full of Miller Lite bitching about his sunburn?
He quickly suited up, grabbed a single tank of air, and descended into Eagle's Nest. Jim, however, never resurfaced either. When a rescue team later found him, he was floating lifelessly around 250 feet or 76 meters. In a further tragic...
Randy's room, something tells me it's not the Macho Man. So this guy grabs a single tank of air, says, I'm going to go into this. They described it as pitch black, like outer space. How are you going to find her? How are you going to find her? And what are you looking for? You're looking for a body, right? I know this sounds cold, but it's not like you're going to go down there and rescue a woman. I wonder what the dude told this guy. I wonder what he told her or told him about her. Because he had to think there was still a chance to save her, or he wouldn't have done it. So this guy is a scuba diving instructor, happens to be taking pictures. A maniac comes out of the water, says, go down and get my wife. He tries to. He then dies. The only thing that would make this more tragic is if this Jim fella, this former instructor, had recently had an epiphany that diving into caves like this is ridiculous and dangerous, and he shouldn't do it. That would be the only thing that made this more awful.
Twist of fate, Jim's friends told the media that he was considering giving up cave diving over concerns about the sport's safety.
Damn.
Reports also say that Terry, just like Darren and Dylan, was breathing regular air despite being well below 200 feet or 61 meters. It's believed Terry and Jim both suffered debilitating bouts of nitrogen narcosis that led to their deaths. These incidents bring up yet another issue that can occur inside Eagle's Nest, and any cave for that matter, and that's when divers push themselves beyond their limits. The sign at the top of the debris pile provides a clear and sobering warning about this particular danger, but for one reason or another, many divers either ignore it or overestimate their abilities and experience. In another incident, on the evening of July 18, 2018, 20-year-old Said arrived in the parking lot outside Eagle's Nest with a handful of other divers.
Said or Saeed? Is this an AI voice?
This group of divers, however, was a bit different and were known as free divers. Just like cave and scuba divers, free divers wear wetsuits, masks, and fins, but they dive without air tanks of any kind. In other words, each dive is performed on a breath hold only.
Can you fathom? And again, I apologize. I feel like I've said this 1,000 times while we're watching this. I just would like to be, I wouldn't want to be that person, but I would like to be in their head, being John Malkovich style, when that decision was made. Not only are we going to go dive in this sinkhole where everyone dies, but we're going to do it without scuba diving gear. We're just going to go down and hold our breath. Because it's like jerking off with a belt around your neck, right? Like getting a freezer bag and putting it over your head while you masturbate. Like, just masturbating isn't good enough. No, that's not fun. We've got to be near death to do it. Tom G 999, thank you for the fucking super chat, brother. She gone. Unfortunately, I don't mean to be flippant. This is awful, but yeah, she gone. It's weird, man. Like, involving other people, like, I would rather, I know it's easy to say sitting here in my basement, but I think I would much rather die than be responsible for somebody else's death, specifically if they're trying to do good. Please go save my wife because of the dumbass decision that we made. I live, and now both of you are dead. I don't know how horrible survivor's guilt is, but if that guy doesn't have it, then probably nobody on earth has it. It is nutty. Todd says it's thinning the herd. I guess, man, but these are all people that pay their taxes, right? These are all people that get their cars inspected. You know, these are productive members of society. I mean, scuba diving is not a cheap hobby. This is not a hobby for poors. So I'm guessing they're not sticking up liquor stores. I'm guessing they're not looting. I'm guessing if we bomb Iran, they're not burning their cities down. You know, I'm guessing these are productive members of society, that they have this addiction. They have this quirk. You can't kayak? There's danger involved in kayaking. It's physical. Involves the water. What are we doing? Thank you, Tom G. You're a good man. Thank you for supporting this show via Super Chats, everybody.
In any case, for hours after their arrival, members of the group would linger at the surface as each of them performed their free dives, which usually consisted of getting to a specific depth as quickly as possible with the help of some kind of weight or ballast. Then, once at depth, this group did some brief exploring before kicking their way back up to the surface. It was getting late when Sed was going to perform his last dive, and for this one, he wanted to break his own personal record by reaching the 80-foot or 24-meter mark.
How about we break our personal record someplace else? You guys know that giant diving facility in Dubai? You guys heard of that? Dive Dubai, I think it's called. Go look it up. We have time. I'll show you a video from that here. It's fantastic. Indoor diving facility in Dubai, stories deep. There's an entire underwater town you can go explore. But if you're one of these crazy free divers, you can go all the way down to the bottom and all the way up, and they have it labeled, and there's rescue divers, and the water is chlorinated. There's no silt. How about we break our personal record there instead of here? Not a sermon.
The rest of the group then watched as he and another diver disappeared under the water and dropped like stones, disappearing into the darkness of the ballroom. It's unclear just how long Sed could hold his breath for, but amateur freedivers can usually last a few minutes underwater, so their dives take a fraction of the time cave divers spend underwater with tanks. Either way, very quickly it became clear that something had gone terribly wrong when Sed didn't return to the surface. Several members of the group then raced into Eagle's Nest to try to locate and help him, but he was nowhere to be found. And because of the immense depth of the ballroom, they couldn't swim any deeper on just a breath hold. As this was happening at the same time, others were calling for emergency help. However, after rescue divers arrived at the scene, it didn't take too long to find Sed. His lifeless body was discovered on the debris pile about 150 feet or 46 meters below the surface.
I mean, they can't even begin to try to rescue this motherfucker because they can't even get down to where the body would fall. Look at the size of that debris pile. And by the way, appropriately named considering how many we've already been through in a video that's under 20 minutes where the body washes up on the debris pile. How does the debris get down there, might I ask?
And unfortunately, based on the available information, it's not entirely clear what went wrong in his dive.
I can tell you.
And in fact, beyond that, even when almost everything goes right, Eagle's Nest has a way of claiming lives. At 55 years old, Charles was one of 4 divers who arrived at Eagle's Nest on the morning of January 8, 2017 to do some exploring. One of the divers in the group experienced some sort of equipment malfunction before they descended and pulled himself from the dive as a result. The other 3, including Charles, who had only been diving for 2 years and had no cave experience, went ahead with their plan. All 3 then descended through the vertical tunnel into the ballroom without incident when suddenly at around 100 feet or 33 meters, Charles went limp. The other 2 then rushed to him to see if he was okay, but he had somehow lost consciousness. They immediately initiated their ascent, but they also had to be careful not to go too fast to avoid decompression sickness. On the surface, as the diver who had to remain behind was loading his gear into his car, he heard the others surface and rushed to the pool to see why they were so early. He then managed to pull Charles from the water, but whatever happened to him, it was already too late. When medical services arrived, he was pronounced dead at the scene, and an autopsy showed he had suffered a heart attack during the dive.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you suffer a heart attack during the diners, drives, and faces, Guy Fieri's driving diner, death, spiral, death. I mean, there's pressure, there's gas, there's adrenaline. None of these people are in their early 20s. They all seem to be weekend warrior 55-year-old types. Of course you're going to have a heart attack. Where else would be a better place for you to have it? Well, the guy that had the cave experience, he's not coming, but we don't have any cave experience, so by all means proceed. I don't have a lot of sympathy for any of these motherfuckers. It just, there is a morbid curiosity because I don't see any difference in this behavior than if there was an open flame and you stuck your hand into it. Or if there was a big container filled with asps and you decide to cannonball into that motherfucker butt naked. I just don't see a lot of difference in the decision to lead up into that. So it's difficult for me to feel anything other than fear and scorn. I'm having a big giant bowl of scorn flakes because of all these cave divers. And that's probably not good karma.
In a separate incident, Davin, a 53-year-old pilot and spearfisherman, came to Eagle's Nest with his good friend Greg on January 20th, 2018.
Good old Greg.
The two divers were only planning to go to around the top of the ballroom, which is around 70 feet or 21 meters down, as that's all their experience would allow for. As they entered the seemingly endless blackness of the ballroom, David also suddenly went limp. Davin was dead before emergency medical help could arrive, and authorities speculated that he also suffered a heart attack during his dive.
Of course.
Many years before Charles and Davin passed away at Eagle's Nest, 29-year-old Brent had his first experience there in August 1990. He was a certified dive instructor who had just wrapped up an introductory course in cave diving when he entered Eagle's Nest. His dive partners that day knew he was inexperienced in caves, particularly deep caves, but what they didn't know was that Brent had been suffering blackouts underwater for about a year leading up to that dive. There are a number of reasons why someone might black out during a dive, from holding your breath unnecessarily to nitrogen narcosis or oxygen toxicity, but it's unclear what exactly was the cause of Brent's trend of losing consciousness.
Does it fucking matter? Isn't that something you want to tell your homie? Ain't that something you want to tell your homie? Hey, bud, I know we've been friends for 35 years and broadcast partners for a lot of that, but you need to know something. I'm gay and I'm in love with you. That's something you got to tell your boy. He's thinking that you guys have a different relationship than the one you have. We're just friends. It's all an act. You're Fez Watley. I'm Ron Bennington. No. When I give you a book of matches from the first night that we met as a Christmas gift 25 years later, that's not just me being sentimental. I'm gay and in love with you. You've got to tell them that. That's what being responsible and an adult is all about. Knowing that when you cave dive, you suffer blackouts, and then not telling your homies that, that is a very interesting choice. It's a very interesting decision to make, especially with people that you care about, that you're presumably you guys have your lives in each other's hands.
However, either way, at some point during his Eagle's Nest dive, he lost consciousness and then sank to the bottom of the ballroom. His body was eventually found at the 190-foot or 60-meter mark. Now, unlike...
Quick recap, the guy that blacked out all the times that hit his blackouts from his diving partners blacked out and died and fell to the bottom of the ballroom. Quick recap.
Many of the nearby springs in the area. Another thing that makes Eagle's Nest dangerous is that it's not exactly known for always offering crystal clear conditions. Everything depends on how the weather has been and how the current is running on any given day. Most often, the water in Eagle's Nest is somewhere around slightly cloudy, but it can also become dark and muddy due to organic coloring in the water called tannins. And this is all on top of the ever-present...
Seriously, that's the same shit in wine, right? Tannins? Isn't that the same shit everybody's always screaming about while their teeth are turning purple?
...threat of accidentally reducing the visibility to zero by disturbing the silt along the cave's walls. To avoid this, cave divers will do their best to keep their profile as trim as possible and use techniques like a frog kick to move around, but it can still happen anyway. As cave diving became more popular and due to the handful of deaths that occurred in Eagle's Nest before the turn of the century, the Wildlife Refuge actually banned diving there in 1999. The cave...
Why would they open it back up? The cave diving community was upset. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Limp dick their way to your office and hold a fakakta protest? Can you imagine caring if the cave diving community is upset with your decision? You suicidal assholes need to go brand yourselves someplace else. Figure out another way to get those adrenaline glands a-popping. I'm not caving to the cave diving community. I am not.
The diving community was upset about this and immediately began lobbying for Eagle's Nest to be reopened to them. And it took quite a bit of convincing, but in 2003, their efforts were successful and diving was once again allowed at the sinkhole.
Look, man, I believe you should be allowed to smoke cigarettes. I believe you should be allowed to snort cocaine. I believe you should be allowed to drink alcohol. I believe you should be allowed to do all of it. When I want you regulated is when your stupid fucking habit starts affecting me. when I start smelling like cigarette smoke, when you drunk drive into my fucking house, when you break into my home so that you can try to get money to buy meth, like that's when I want you put away. If this was just dum-dums going down to the bottom of this hole to die, it ain't my thing, but whatevs. The problem is now there's other people trying to rescue them. Their lives are at risk. They're dying too. Are there tax dollars involved? I mean, if there was some sort of an iPad at the end of this dock with a little tick box where you could say, okay, don't come get me. I don't know if you've seen 28 Years Later, but they basically say if you go outside these walls, nobody's coming to get you except for these weird polyester jumpsuited ninja guys at the end. Holy shit. Avoid that movie. We had that set up, and it's not costing me no money, fine. But that doesn't sound like that's what's happening here. I wonder what happened in 2003 where they're like, now let's go ahead and open this death trap up again and make sure these motherfuckers can go up and see their maker. I do like $1.99 super chats with nothing written. When there's nothing at all for me to even read, and it's just like, here's $2. It's pretty great. Thank you, DC Sports Mark. Oh, we caved into the cave diving community. How do you go home and tell your wife that?
As you might have expected, though, not even a year later, tragedy struck again on June 12, 2004, when 36-year-old John and 44-year-old Craig showed up, eager for the opportunity to dive Eagle's Nest. Up to that point, John had been certified for 10 years, and Craig earned his cave diving certification just 2 years earlier. Around 1 p.m., they got their diving underway, with John using an underwater scooter. This made moving around inside quite a bit faster. Unfortunately, if the scooter isn't handled carefully, the water disturbed by the propeller can cause a silt out.
Tor would need 2 of those things if he was going to go diving in this hole.
Sometime later, the 2 divers were expected to be back around 2:30, but when they still hadn't arrived at 3:30, their support team called 911.
Of course.
Around 3 p.m. the following day.
And by the way, when you call 911, I don't know a lot of firemen that carry full scuba rigs with them. What's that process like? Ain't nobody getting saved. I mean, we talked about that earlier, but this is a reclaim the body mission now. You call 911, it's like, hey, my house is on fire. Hey, there's a guy trying to break into my house. Like you're hoping maybe that they can stop it, and you're still alive. None of that happens in this scenario. They're simply coming to fish your body out of the drink.
John's body was found 1,000 feet or 305 meters inside one of the system's tunnels, still wearing all of his equipment but lacking any gas in his main and secondary tanks. It would take another 2 days for Craig to be found about 290 feet or 88 meters further inside the cave and completely tangled up in a rope. It's believed that at some point in the dive, the 2 found themselves in a silt out, and in a moment of panic, John dropped his scooter and grabbed the guideline. Horrifyingly, though, it's thought that either due to panic or the lack of a directional marker, John then followed the line in the opposite direction of the exit.
Oh my God.
This mistake, while disoriented, caused him to eventually run out of air entirely.
That's the thing, isn't it? I forgot who told me this, but one of the things they tell you when, I think the Marines have to do this. I don't know how many other members of the military do. I don't know if Air Force does. I think Navy pilots have to do it. But they put you in that husk of a helicopter, and they turn it over, and they drop it into the water, and you're belted in, right? Like you're belted into the seat. And you've got to get yourself out of the harness, get yourself out of the seat, and then swim out of the helicopter and get back to the surface. It's like part of the training that you have to do. And this guy I knew that went through this said one of the things that they teach you is blow bubbles out, like stop for a second, chill, blow bubbles out and see which way the bubbles go. And then that way you'll know which way's north. Which way's north. Because it's very possible in your panic to swim the wrong fucking way. And then once you realize it, you're too far away from the surface and you drown. But if you're in a goddamn cave and the only reference you have is a lead rope, there's no lighted arrows on the lead rope telling Beetlejuice how to get to the whorehouse, you're pulling in the wrong direction. Imagine only being 240 feet away from your boy and you both die down there. Whew. Oh, look at all these. Mary Lou sent a $1.99 super chat with nothing on it. And Rooster Cogburn sent a $2 super chat. Oh, look at that profile pic. It's Jim with a Velociraptor popcorn bucket on his head. And if I'm not mistaken, that's a crackhead in the background that's about to attack his children. Somebody can find, Corey, if you can find that pic, send that to me. I would like to talk about that while I'm here. We don't pay enough attention to how symbolic that picture is of how bad of a father Jim Jester is. We really should spend more time on that and probably re-bring it up on the anniversary of that photo being taken whenever he went to see Jurassic Park on Ice or whatever the fucking show that was. Is that show still around? Jurassic Park on Ice? I went to see that. A lot too many kids there, but it's fun to get drunk and watch dinosaurs chase a bunch of assholes around. That is fun. I can absolutely attest to it. All right, where are we? Maybe this guy lives.
Craig likely made a similar error, but then as he followed the rope, he came to an area where there was a jump in the line. It seems that as he was attaching his own line to make the jump, he got wrapped up in it, and then around then he ran out of gas completely and died where he was found. In another incident involving highly experienced and properly certified divers, Patrick, Chris, and Justin planned an extensive dive at Eagle's Nest for October 16, 2016. Patrick and Chris were the most experienced of the three, and Justin was going along to explore some of the shallower sections while the other two performed a much more advanced dive. The day before their dive, the three stashed Trimix, decompression, and bailout tanks along the guidelines so that when they arrived on the 16th, they could just get right to diving.
Sweet.
Justin's main role that day was to dive to a particular depth at 3 p.m. and ensure that Patrick and Chris were in the decompression stage of their dive. The decompression stage, as many of you are probably familiar with, is another critical element of cave diving, particularly for those reaching extreme depths like you'll find in Eagle's Nest. As a diver descends, nitrogen gas is absorbed by the soft tissues, but on ascent, that nitrogen comes back into the bloodstream, which carries it to the lungs so it can be expelled while exhaling.
Bends, some people will rob their mothers for the bends. Right snitch on one another for the bends. Sometimes kids get murdered for the bends. So before we go any further, I want my bends. Bends by Whitey Morgan. Whitey Ford? Ever Ford? I think the artist's name is Ever Ford.
But crucially, this is a process that occurs slowly and is related to the time and depth spent underwater. And this is such an important process because if the ascent is too quick, the nitrogen will form bubbles in the blood, which can cause a variety of issues. In mild cases, it can cause joint and muscle pain, headache, and weakness. But in more serious cases,
she could have a DHE and an MVA, but now she's waiting tables because she's rent to pay. Companies downsizing, insurance rising, can't find a job, she's feeling tired of stress. Falls off the track, starts smoking the crack, and once it hits a pill, starts a chain react, sells the shirt off her back and shoes off her feet. Nobody likes Everface fucking shtick?
It can lead to paralysis or even death. Sometime in the afternoon that day, Patrick, Chris, and Justin descended together, and when they reached Justin's max depth, they stopped for a moment and flashed each other the OK hand signal before Patrick and Chris continued on. Just like
the OK hand signal, white supremacists! White supremacists drowning in a stink, of course, in Florida. Oh, look, no. I'm not okay because of this diving. I'm supporting the patriarchy. Holy shit.
Like they planned, Justin came back to his max depth at 3 o'clock after exploring for a while, but when he looked below him, there was no sign of his dive partners. Every half hour, Justin returned to depth to check on Patrick and Chris, but when neither of them was seen by 6 o'clock, Justin then called the Cave Country Dive Shop and spoke with a rescue diver. A rescue diver then rushed to Eagle's Nest with a team of support divers.
Why would you rush? I mean, this is the part I fucking don't want to sound cold-blooded. Why are we rushing? They had 4 hours of air. They've been gone for 6 hours. It is a wrap. God forbid you ever had to wake up and hear the news, because then you really might know what it's like to drown in the bottom of this fucking bog in Florida, mosquito-infested, rat-infested water moccasins and fucking... It's tough to sing like Everlast, everybody. It's tough. DC Sports Mark, thank you for all the super chats. $4.99. This is the type of shit that gives me nightmares. Too real. I know, my Everlast impression is too real. I mean, you fucking probably think he's right here. It's like, oh shit. I hope he performs something off Shamrocks and Shenanigans. Hi-oh! I swear to God, nobody gets my fucking Everlast shtick.
Divers on the way, but things weren't in place to safely conduct a search and rescue dive until around 11 o'clock that night. 2 rescue divers then entered Eagle's Nest and took turns searching the upstream tunnels once they were inside the ballroom. After an extensive look around the upstream corridors with finding nothing, they turned and made their way through the downstream tunnel.
Imagine.
However, when they surfaced around 3:30 in the morning, they did so empty-handed without finding Patrick or Chris. Another pair of divers then took over from there, entering one of the other downstream tunnels.
The man hours.
Toward an area known as the pit. Almost immediately on the exit side of the pit, they found the lifeless bodies of Patrick and Chris. Based on what was observed when the bodies were found, including data from their respective dive computers, here is what is believed to have happened. Around 43 minutes into their dive, the pair arrived at the pit and spent a few moments outside it before entering, likely to determine a plan to navigate the tight restrictions there. At around the 49-minute
How are they coming up with a plan? I mean, they can't talk to each other.
Mark, they entered the restriction but then backed out several minutes later. They then waited again before a second attempt was made at around 58 minutes, but 3 minutes later, something strange occurred. One of them then abandoned the rebreather apparatus they were wearing. A rebreather recycles exhaled gas, turning it into breathable gas, which can extend dive time and
I need that for the studio whenever Jim Jester is belching peach bush light all over me.
limit the bubbles a diver produces. At some point as well, the secondary long hose on one of their air tanks was deployed and the pair began breathing from the same tank.
I'm sorry, you ain't breathing out of my tank, dog. That's a hard no for me, dog.
It's unclear if one of them suffered some kind of mechanical issue, but it was apparent at the scene that one of them got stuck in the restriction and the other was attempting to free him. Unfortunately, at around 85 minutes into the dive, the 2 men ran out of gas despite being in the vicinity of a bailout bottle of gas they'd stashed the day before.
What I've learned is that these bailout bottles of gas that people stashed the day before are completely useless. You know what else I learned? These guys probably would have lived. They would have leave the lights on. Better leave your lights on, because there's a monster sleeping under my bed, whispering in my ear. Can you imagine if Carlos Santana was down there with fucking Everlast and they started using the same tank and they're taking hits off of it and they just died belly up and nobody knew why? Holy shit. Everybody would say the same thing. Why couldn't it have been Rob Thomas?
And unfortunately, they never even made it to their planned decompression stops. So in the end, what is known is that it seems that there were 2 experienced divers who were at a restriction when something occurred that required one of the divers to remove his rebreather despite it functioning correctly. They then began buddy breathing while trying to navigate the restriction, but
buddy breathing
between whatever they were dealing with and the
I think Monk and Ant-Man are going to do some heavy buddy breathing tonight. Am I right or am I right? Hi-oh!
tight cave passages, they ran out of gas before making it to safety. It's been suggested that one man may have gotten stuck and the other man died trying to get
his
him
ass.
As you may have noticed, many of the incidents that occurred at Eagle's Nest didn't occur during some crazy deep technical dive. There were a couple, and probably some more that aren't widely publicized, but by and large, the incidents occurred due to a variety of factors that aren't entirely related to the cave itself. In fact, in some cases, they were simply freak accidents. So, much like the infamous Blue Hole of Dahab, due to a lack of records, it's not entirely clear if Eagle's Nest is uniquely dangerous or if there are simply more dives that occur there, resulting in a higher raw number of deaths.
No, I can tell you, Eagle's Nest is uniquely dangerous, 100%. You told us at the beginning of the video that 1 in 11 cave deaths, diving deaths in the United States of America take place at this motherfucker. That isn't true. It's dangerous. Take Schoode's word for it.
Either way, Eagle's Nest sinkhole remains open to this day to the cave diving community.
I mean, I'm not in the habit of petitioning fucking freedoms to be taken away from people. But maybe we can't be trusted with this, you know? Just because I don't think people should be diving into the Eagle's Nest doesn't mean I think that New York City should be banning 48-ounce sodas. Holy shit. Joshua C. says they got in the pit to try to love someone. Bow with the bow, the bang, biggie, bitches at the honky, the hum, dum, not name it. Andy Schonard is in the building, and he's got the calzones. I have only one thing to say to Andy Schonard.
And well, guys, if I could still show you around, here is the biggest, gayest man in the world.
I'm kidding, Andy, of course. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Thank you so much for the $19.99 super chat. Orange boys represent. Are there any other motherfucking orange boys in the building? If so,
I'm butt-sized.
Thank you so much, Andy. Don't think Petra's got much to do with it. I think we established that if Petra found out about all these super chats, that credit card would get shut down. Yo, big verbal nod to Derek Woodward, who ordered Charlie Crockett $10 Cowboy on vinyl from CommonwealthDryGoods.com. You know what that means, Derek? Not only am I going to package that bad boy up myself tomorrow, we got a bunch of records on sale, by the way, on the site. There's only 2 fun boys today. We've been on almost 2.5 hours. Only 2 people have ordered records, but those 2 people have got big, long penises. And I guarantee that if they use those cocks to anchor themselves at the top of the eagle's nest, they would survive diving into that cave. Thank you to the fun boys. If you'd like to be a fun boy, order a record off CommonwealthDryGoods.com, and I will package it up for you. Better yet, order a Ponytails and Cocktails record. You can get the 3 Storms fucking $5. Those they've been on sale for 100. I think I bought 500 of those. Oh, what a nightmare. Okay. Everlast from House of Pain. Yes, DC Sports Mark. What cracked the code, you silly goose? Thank you, Andy. Very, very kind. All right. So yeah, that's nuts. And I think we're gonna start covering cave diving on this channel. That channel was called Scary Interesting. They have 1.64 million subscribers. They don't need my help, but that don't mean that that's not a fucking that ain't cool, yo. That ain't something cool. They're putting together over there. All right. What did we say we wanted to do next? We said we wanted to do scary or fun. I think we did fun. And did we do scary? I think we did. I think that was a part of what we did. You want to do fun again? Let's do fun again. So, I used to do sports talk radio. I think most of you are aware of this. I don't know if you listened. I wouldn't have listened. I didn't think the show was very good, but I did it anyway, and I got paid for it. Mostly that's why. I have a fatalistic reaction to my former career at times. At one point, I was paired with Lavar and Dukes, and we did a show, and we didn't always get along, but I'm certainly grateful for the time, and being paired with that guy certainly put me on a different level and allowed me to then do my own show when he left for the NFL Network for many, many years. It gave me credibility, so I will always be grateful for that. Did you guys know I had cornrows? Talked a lot about me having long hair, but as I was looking through some of these older videos that I had found, I found this. And I had forgotten that we'd forgotten about this. I hosted the show one day, and while I was hosting the show, I had cornrows put in, which doesn't seem like something I would do. I'll give you that. But it is something I did. And I don't think it looks very good in this video, but I gotta say, there's pictures where I think I look pretty goddamn gangster. I look kind of like, who's your boy in Spring Breakers that got canceled? I look a little bit like him. Kind of Sonny Ledford-ish. But I'd forgotten that there was actually some visual chronicling of the event by Shaky Knee.
It's just common sense. That's all. It's not about taking a side. It's just common sense.
Take a look at this sexy beast. I don't even know how old I was. This is at the 10800 Main Street Studios. This is the Dungeon Room. This used to be a production studio. They gutted it and turned it into the Junkie Studio. There were no windows in this place. I much preferred the other studio, but eventually it was in such a state of disrepair, we all had to do our shows out of this studio. So this is me getting cornrows while we're doing the show. We are on the air at this moment, as far as I know. I'm trying to remember the name of this woman. It was something crazy. She had like a crazy name like Surprise or Champagne, or we'll figure it out.
And when you feel it, throw your hands up. Ooh.
See? You didn't know what you were dealing with.
Excuse me.
Came over here.
Where'd that come from?
I'm a multi. Well, I'm being filmed. Look at the fans.
You walking as you
Something to
or-
enjoy. This is a sticky wicket.
Boy, I have the same facial hair that I have today. But even back then, when I was young and I guess slimmer and nubile, still very Shrek looking. This is a very Shrek looking face. Also, I don't know why my nostrils are flaring the way that they are. I'm just a regrettable looking individual.
Thanks for checking out the show. This is the Lavar and Dukes Show with Chad Dukes, 800-636.
I got corrected on that many times. It wasn't Lavar and Dukes. It was the LeVar Arrington Show with Chad Dukes. Like, I had to make sure I got that right. Eventually, I think I wore everybody down, but that was the thing for a while.
To 1067, we invite you to chime in on anything going on. We also got copies of Madden to give away today. We got a lot of stuff to get to.
He is speaking to it, I think, better than the host before now, which we do most times. All right.
I think that's Bodie. I had no idea that Bodie was the producer. Then also, if you can tell, as I'm getting the cornrows, I have to take my headphones off and hold them up to one side. And it was so goddamn tight at this point. It was incredibly painful. And as you can see, this confirms how professional of an environment 1067 The Fan was by the rat's nest gnarl of cords that are resting in the middle of the studio. You can just tell that this is a facility where they take broadcasting seriously. And they want us to have the best environment to broadcast, the best sounding environment. Look at that shit. If that was resting at the bottom of the eagle's nest, none of those divers would live. They'd all be up out of here.
A holdout is someone who has a job and is being paid and has a contract in place. So
look how airtight this studio is. Look at the lighting. I'd forgotten all about this until I found this video. I blocked out every moment of radio I did in that studio.
If Aaron Maben was holding out, if Michael Crabtree was holding, you actually
Michael Crabtree.
look like, you really do kind of look like me.
If I was in better shape and had a bigger hog.
Look at this stud. Look at this fucking urban angel. Tell me I'm not handsome there. There's probably been about 5 or 6 moments in my life where I was a handsome man. You can't tell me I'm not good looking there. And I hate to say it. I hate to say it because this is a cornball shit thing to do. Pudgy white guy gets cornrows on sports talk radio show. It suits me. What do you think, Tom G? You let me go. You pulled me over. If I gave you those eyes with that hair. I forgot how long I kept these motherfuckers in. It was longer than you would think.
It's kind of weird.
I mean, this is a very exciting time in my life. The cornrows are now done, and the do-rag is being applied.
Yeah, I had to get the do-rag also. And honestly, this was a big moment because, there's so many people in popular culture, movies, athletics, music, and the like. We all love Method Man. I came to bring the pain hardcore from... I've never seen the top of his head. He's always had a do-rag on. Now, remember how I said I was really handsome just a moment ago? This fucking... I take that back right here. This is a guy that looks like he's cruising by middle schools. I wouldn't let my kids around this man. How did you forget you had cornrows? I don't know. I don't know. Did it hurt or itch? It hurt like shit. It was so... tight. The hair was so tight. But I think she was happy because I don't think she'd ever done a white guy's cornrows, and my hair was very straight. It was very soft. I've been blessed with pretty nice hair. So I think that she was complimentary of it, from what I recall. But I'm telling you, this is a look that I've thought about going back to. And I think that if I have this haircut again at 46 years of age, that I'm that much closer to being the third member of Meth and Red. Very possible. I could be like that guy in the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones that just danced on stage. I've got no ego in this.
That is awesome.
I never thought I'd be able to say that in my life, and I'm very excited I am. And I know the Dreb, you're very jealous.
I really am.
So Drab was still our producer then. So what was Bodie doing in there? This had to be the first year of Lavar and Dukes because this was before Drab got caught talking shit on Facebook Messenger. And I think that Rock guy from Kevin and Rock, I don't remember. So, it might have been AJ Atayi. No, I don't know. I don't want to accuse anyone. I don't remember for certain who it was. Someone behind the scenes took a screen cap of Drab saying shit on Facebook Messenger and sent it to DCR TV, sent it to CK. I think I got suspended for that. I got suspended right around this time. I think it might have been for that. I think VAR wanted me gone for that. Which I don't blame him. I don't remember if I was talking shit, but I think I was on the other end of that message. It was a very weird time. But if Drab was there, it was before all that shit. And we were still in good standing. What's up, Enoch? Enoch Boateng. Happy Independence Day, brother.
Thank you very much for checking out the show. Again, if you would like to have the same process done or anything, you can go to Lamar Edward. That's on 2127 Rhode Island Avenue Northeast.
Northeast Rhode Island Avenue. Represent. Dukes is heavy in these streets like your favorite sneaker.
Get anything you need done with your hair, and you can search for Diamond on...
Diamond was her name.
What is this? BestSalon.com? Is that it?
Best Salon Search.
Best Salon
You can't forget
Search.
that name, Diamond. Just if you feel like you forgot it, just think about like diamonds.
I remember being very excited when she pulled the do-rag around the front and was tying it around because, again, Method Man always, I felt like, had his do-rag tied up like 4 times. He had all the extra on the back. It's kind of a cool look. Felt like instantly gave me more credibility. I mean, look at this man. You would fucking run them pockets for this man, wouldn't you?
Now after this, I will look like Method Man, which is what I
Holy
wanted to look
shit!
like.
Holy shit! Holy shit! I didn't know I said that. I have not evolved at all. I am the same motherfucker a decade later. That is goddamn hilarious. I had no idea that was going to happen. Oh, look at this. Enoch Boateng. Thank you so much, buddy. Enoch just ordered a Big Damn Band So Delicious record signed by the Big Damn Band. I don't mind plugging that. If you would like a signed Reverend Peyton Big Damn Band record, even if you don't have a record player, who wouldn't want a record signed by Rev and Breezy? They're only $25. They're only $25 on the website. Go check it out. Enoch, I don't think Enoch has a record player, but why wouldn't you want that? That is a very cool thing to have. And I think that's cheaper than a plain record. I had them sign a bunch of records last time they were here, and we have them for a very good price over there on CommonwealthDryGoods.com. Thank you, Enoch. You are part of the Fun Boys now. And thank you to Tom G for the $9.99 super chat. Teacup fish hat. Teacup. Better try to figure that one out. Todd says, is this a WPGC audition? That's stereotypical, Todd. I don't think it's racist, but I do think it's stereotypical. We do not tolerate that here, nor do we tolerate free chats. Thank you, Tom G. Explain what you said in another $1.99 super chat. I appreciate it. Schoode making cornrows great again. I thought cornrows made a comeback. Did they not? Are cornrows still out of style?
I always knew that this was the look for me. I like basketball.
Look at those fucking nostrils. You could park the Batmobile in those.
Hip hop and chicks with big asses. So why wouldn't my hair be cut this way?
That's true. I did back then. I'm not as big a basketball fan now. But I like all those things. It would seem to me that haircut would be very fitting. So this is WJFK back when they were moving us to Lanham, but we were the last ones to go. So they came in, and because they're such cheap busters, they broke down all the cubicles, all the furniture, and they sent that shit north to Lanham before they moved us. So we just worked in a hollowed out bomb shelter for, I think, a full year. This is where we filmed the Main Street Mafia. We would play airsoft in here. This whole area was damaged because of all the bullshit that I would pull behind the scenes. That back corner is where Barty and Blue Shorts were. I think I'm headed over there right now. That is Slacks Kynard's office to the back left there, the former program, well, for current program director. That's Bear Man Snoochie Boochie's wearing the Big O and Dukes 1 year anniversary tee. And Bear's got the cornrows, had the do-rags. I think Bear was a big fan of your pal getting the cornrows.
Down, baby. Oh, look at my dog. Wow. Yeah. What's in?
That's fucking Bo Cephas right there. Bo Schembechler.
It looks really nice.
There's Slacks Kynard. Well, I don't think technically fired me, but he was on the phone. He was on the phone when they called and said I was a racist, and I said, "Oh, what?"
And what about my face?
Well, I like it because it gets Chad's hair out of his face, and he's got a very nice face. We all know that.
And just put underneath it, just put Slacks Kynard.
I do have a very nice face. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this fucking Ethan Hawke looking. I mean, I look straight nightmare, dude. This is Street Kings level shit you got going on here. Tom G, aren't ska dancers called teacups? What? Thank you for the super chat, bud. But I have no fucking idea if that's true. Tom G, a few drinks in tax. I'll say. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for the super chats. Very kind of you. Alex Horvat had cornrows done in high school. Alex, that makes even less sense than me getting cornrows. Why is this video titled Chad Dukes finally gets cornrows? Was that something that I was just pining away for years and years? Can't imagine. Yeah, so I found a bunch of those videos from around that time period, so it's probably pretty likely that we start going through it so that we can go through it. Some of it is very uncomfortable for me. Like, I won't lie to you about that, but like I still think there's a lot of entertainment value in it. That's worth us discussing it here. So, found something on eBay that I wanted to show you guys, and I'm not sure if it's the cut of your jib, but as far as collectability, every man has his own muse, to each his own. I don't really understand people that collect pop vinyl. A lot of things that I like to collect, I want them to appreciate and value. I don't know that, that's the best reason to collect shit. Like, you probably should just collect shit that means to you, knowing that in your old age you're going to get rid of it. But I was looking on YouTube for, I was looking on eBay for a Texas Roadhouse t-shirt, one that the staff wears, because I was like, I'd like to wear that. I love the Texas Roadhouse. I wanted to see if they had a Texas Roadhouse neon sign. They also have Texas Roadhouse Christmas ornaments, so I'm a fan of that business. So I went over there, and I started poking around the Texas Roadhouse search over on eBay, and this came up. And I thought, well, we're going to definitely have to talk about this on the show in some way, shape, or form. This is a plate that Texas Roadhouse... I guess they didn't provide the plate. They provided the, what the fuck is this? A baked potato, takeout baked potato. This guy put the baked potato on the plate, heated it up, ate it, kept the plate, and then put it up on eBay. This is currently still a listing on eBay. It's absolutely legit. I made an offer. My offer was turned down. I offered $2 for this plate because I wanted to hold it up here on this show and show you that it was an actual transaction. This motherfucker turned me down. This is with $6.53 worth of shipping. So I don't know who Ev Thorm Zero is, but my guy sticks to his guns when it comes to negotiating. I didn't see anything else like this under the Texas Roadhouse tab, but it made me wonder, How much bullshit have people put up on eBay that they've actually been able to sell? Does it go viral? Like, what's the point of this? Other than a chortle. Because I chortled. I won't lie. I even guffawed. I've been known to guffaw. But he turned down my $2. He's asking $20. I might circle back with $5. I might circle back at the conclusion of the broadcast today and see if he'll take $5. So if anybody would like to look this up, please do. He sold 10 other things. He's got 100% positive feedback. People have time on their hands. Enoch, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. A child born to FOB Ghanaian parents, I'm not allowed to get cornrows. They suit you. Thank you, Enoch. Thank you very much. Why not? Do they look down on cornrows? Do they think it's something that is unbecoming? I mean, I kind of get it. The boss man would not be happy. The boss man, the boss man was unaware that ever took place. He is unaware of the cornrow era of Big Schoode. But thank you for the super chat, bud. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Happy Independence Day. So I found these. These are hot dog deviled eggs. I posted this in the super secret supporter chat. I want to start this by saying that I absolutely 100% believe that the deviled egg is a perfect food. I believe it should remain unmolested. I don't think that you need to pickle the deviled eggs. I don't think you need to add anything to the deviled eggs. The only thing that I prefer is if you swap out the amount of mayo and replace that with mustard. I'm okay with a little mayo being in deviled eggs. I know it's a part of it. I'm not a mayo guy, but I also understand it's a necessary evil. I'm making an exception to all my rules for these. This is a food blog called The Food in My Beard. And if you take a look here, he takes you through the entire escapade, including something that I don't think I've ever seen. He makes deviled eggs with hot sauce. And he also says that I believe he uses more mustard because these are hot dog deviled eggs. Here are the baby wieners. I don't know if you can use the Vienna sausages. Are these Vienna sausages? What are these? Egg white down first, some filling, then add the hot dog. Egg white down first? So he's putting egg whites in? Egg whites. Has anybody ever grilled hot dogs with egg whites? Pipe more devil egg filling onto the sides. Oh, okay. Okay, he's talking about the assembly of these bad boys. Cook the mini hot dogs. Fry up the hot dogs in a pan over medium heat. Egg white down. Okay, this is what he's talking about. Jesus Christ, am I stupid? I thought he was referring to making the hot dogs. Look at this process. This is fantastic. Add some filling, then add the hot dog. Then I piped more deviled egg filling onto the sides of the hot dog to form the bun shape. Finally, add the mustard and relish on top. The secret to helping the egg yolk mixture to be firm enough to form the bun shape is dehydrated potato flakes. Add a bit to the mixture when you make it, and then add a little more if needed to make sure it's thick. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't care if it looks like a hot dog bun. I care about the way it tastes. Serving the hot dog deviled egg. I sprinkled these hot dog eggs with a ton of celery salt before serving. Celery salt is common on hot dogs in Chicago, so I thought it would be better than paprika. You can also add some of your own toppings to these. The potato flakes, the egg yolk mixture helps to form the perfect bun shape. I generally like to eat deviled eggs in one bite, but these were quite a mouthful. I love the little mustard drizzle too. These were the perfect bite of food, and I could eat so many of them, I had to stop myself when I was taking these photos. Yeah, I gotta say, this is fucking phenomenal. I mean, we oftentimes go too far with food. I don't know that we need 36 different types of stuffed crust pizza. dessert pizza. I mean, we've perverted pizza beyond recognition at this point. But to circle back around completely, what a callback to the beginning of this show, like almost 3 hours ago. You could add a pickle on top or even some chili or cheese. Maybe a couple of beans, a few onion slices. You could also add ketchup. Fuck that. Nobody puts ketchup on a hot dog. Big Mac deviled eggs, street corn deviled eggs. See, fuck all this. I'm not about this life. But here's the hot dog deviled eggs. 30-minute prep time, 10 minutes, rest and cool 1 hour, total time 1 hour. I mean, this looks pretty straightforward. I might have to make these. Anybody know where to get a mini hot dog? Is that a Vienna sausage? Like, where do you get a mini hot dog from? I have no clue. Todd, $9.99. Thank you, buddy. Yo. Please have Wesley the barber hook you up with cornrows and shit. I got cornrows and shit. Yo, like, my family, like, they don't know how dumb I could ask him. My hair is not. Let's take a look. See, it's not long enough right now. Let's let the locks breathe. What do you think? I think if it got longer, I mean, I'd be down. I just don't know. My hair was pretty fucking long during that. Matthew Burke needs to do a tasting. Well, let's fucking do it. Matt Burke, are you around? Matt Burke is rising up the power rankings again because he told 106.7 The Fan to pump it up their ass when they tried to snake him from me to build Grant and Danny bunk beds or whatever the fuck they were going to do. Don't you guys have enough? You got 5 hours of my real estate. I'm kidding. I kid because I care. Yeah, Matt Burke, if you're going to make these, they need to be brought in. I don't want you making them for your own personal fucking enjoyment. I want them for the hey. All right. This is fantastic. I don't know what people are thinking. Having a boat is something that I think people romanticize, but the actual business of having a boat, and I'm sure Money Monk would disagree. I'm sure he would say that's not the case, that I enjoy it, that I use it to fish, that I use it to socialize, that it's, a fantastic diversion in my life. But he might be right. But what I'm telling you is it's not what I don't want to have to clean it. I don't want the maintenance. I don't want to have to buy fuel for it. Having a friend with a boat is the way to go. I would absolutely recommend it for a pool as well. I know I own a pool. I would never recommend anybody to buy a pool. If there's one at your house already, c'est la vie. C'est la vie. That is a sin that you did not commission yourself, fund yourself. But paying fucking $100,000 to have one dug in your backyard in Fairfax County, And I kind of feel the same way about boats. And this video is not going to change my mind. This video is only going to further reinforce it. Let's get caught up. Jonathan Shore's in the building, and he's got the calzone. $4.99. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, aren't you in that dude that's in that movies at San Diego Comic-Con? I am. I got invited on the panel, and I said, no. I'm not going to pay $800 for a hotel and fucking $2,000 for a plane ticket. I'm not going to do it, Jonathan Shores. But God bless him. God bless him. Tapawingo at San Diego Comic-Con. Corey, if you could send me the link to that, too, I would like to show people that. There's probably not any West Coast people in here, in the 74 people that are watching. But if you want to go to San Diego Comic-Con, there is a chance for you to see Tapawingo and to ask Napoleon Dynamite questions. It's pretty cool, right? Thank you, Jonathan. I'm sorry I had to whip your ass in that movie. Evan from Evan and Sarah, $9.99. Happy No King's Day. Yeah, it was really weird that they had a protest called No King's Day like a month before the shoot No King's Day. The actual No King's Day. That was a very interesting decision by the libs, and God bless them. I hope it worked out for them. I don't think they burned anything down, so I'm in favor of it. Thank you, Evan. I'm not going, Jonathan. You can go if you like. I was going to be up on the panel, too. Like a big dog, like a big silly. Duke's up there with Gina Gershon. Up there with John Haydair boy. I think Zane might be coming. Twins are coming. Listen to your friend Billy Zane. He's a cool guy. I got to spend many days in a car with Billy Zane. Don't think he's the biggest fan of Schoode. But he's good in the movie. Jonathan's good in the movie. And I'm okay in the movie. Here's what I could say about my performance in Tapawingo when you finally see it. I don't think I ruin it. I don't think I ruin it. Jonathan, do you think I ruin it? I don't know that I add to it, but I certainly don't ruin it. All right, I got to piss. We've been going for, hey, hit the like button. We've been going for almost 3 hours for free. Even if you're not super chatting or buying anything off the website, you can hit that like button, can't you? Are we at 100 likes? How many likes are we at? All right, I'm going to piss real quick. But when I get back, we're going to watch an asshole in a boat that just doesn't get it. And if we ever get a video like this for our beloved Money Monk, I'm just going to be so happy. We will have the greatest You Shoot episode of all time if we get body cam footage of Monk getting the wood shampoo on his boat for driving drunk and acting like an asshole. I love Monk to death, but I promise you that'll happen. Okay, until then, I'm going to piss. I'm not going anywhere, so don't you go anywhere. I don't want to see those numbers drop while I'm gone. And to keep your attention, here is some Jim Jester and some Doogie Decimal System.
I think about you. You know I think about you. A Sunday sip, a breeze and me, and nothing to do. Warm, windy Sundays and summer IPA, lost in the moment in the middle of the day. I think about you. You know I think about you. Late at night and sometimes in the morning too. Warm, windy Sundays and summer IPAs, lost in the moment in the middle of the day.
Verbal nod to the Doogie Decibel System. I'll be sharing profits with them at the end of this stream. Oh, boy. Thank you to Jim Jester. No way you don't ruin it. You shine. Oh, thank you, Jonathan. Tapawingo Film on Instagram. Give him a follow. Nichols says, fun show today. I agree. Everything from Ant-Man's butt crack. All the way to cave diving. What else did we do? Cornrows. I had 15-year-old Grant Paulson on the show. Yeah, man, it's been fun. Thank you, Nichols. Are you the size tail that I've been looking for? All right, hit the like button. So this is a channel that you guys know I love. It's called Wavy Boats. 1.62 million subscribers. This is from the Boynton Inlet. I don't know where that is. I think it's in New Jersey. I could be wrong. Sometimes these people seem like Florida people. There's palm trees in this video, so I'm going to assume. If anybody knows where the Boynton Inlet is, please let me know. But this boat has crashed into this seawall here, and it's hung up, and I don't want to spoil it. But if I did something like this, if I owned a boat, twin engine, nice inboard outboard situation going on here, and I did something like this, I would be very embarrassed, especially if my fellow members of Redneckia were lined up at the fence to watch me struggling. I think there's some police officers towards the left there. I don't see too many ladies, but lots of farmers, tans. I'm guessing these are some fellow fishermen. I wouldn't want to look like an asshole in front of these people. I was mentioning Tapawingo earlier. My goal was to not look like an asshole. I didn't want anybody to have to say, cut, we need to do that again, because I didn't know my motherfucking lines and shit. That was my only goal. And that would be my goal if I was this dickhead. I would want my boat up on the concrete. And spoiler alert, I've had 2 beers. I would not want tugboats to have to come out and scrape the bottom of my boat against the goddamn concrete to get me off. And if I did do all of that, I don't know that I'd hang out at the stern of my boat screaming at everybody that went past that they're the asshole. I've said too much. But this is a good one. Can't recommend Wavy Boats enough. Go check out their YouTube page. I watch it every day. Lori Wagner is an orange boy. She's an orange lady. Thank you, Chad. The show is better than anything going on outside, and you were fantastic in Tapawingo. Lori, when did you see Tapawingo? Did you go down to Charlottesville? Where did you see it? I always lose track of how many different times it's been available to see in front of people. We're going to do a screening of it, I promise. It's supposed to be out, available on streaming by August, but who the fuck knows? I don't believe any of that shit anymore, unfortunately. But, Lori, I do believe that Nino gets butt-sized for people donating at $20.
I just want to say, I get butt-sized.
I was correct about that. Nino does feel that way, as do I. Thank you, Lori. You are the bestest in the world. Boat crashes into seawall at Boynton Inlet. Captain and passenger had to be rescued. All right, so if that is the captain and that is the passenger, then maybe the guy that we see later isn't the captain. Keep that in mind, because I have a different impression of this video if that is the case. Onslow Bay. I think that's the type of boat it is. We were told the captain could not see the submerged concrete platforms due to high tide. It don't look like high tide to me. All right, so this motherfucker. Now, this guy's got to be the owner of the boat, because I don't think he's a sea tow guy. Keep that in mind. See if you can figure this out with me. I watched this, but I did not go over it with a fine-tooth comb. I kind of want to work sea tow. Now, it says on the side of the towboat, covering all of Bahamas. Is there really a giant concrete structure like this with a bunch of Floridian-looking motherfuckers in the Bahamas? That would be a huge bummer. Sea tow is on the scene, but boaters are still speeding in the inlet. So this guy's pissed and screaming because other boats are going out and doing their business. Do you see him? He's got the outstretched arms. He starts yelling. And we ran into this in the last Wavy video that we covered, is that the mantra of the asshole in the boat is to scream at other people to slow the fuck down. That's what everybody screams all the time. Slow the fuck down. I'm no expert, but none of the boats they're screaming at to slow down look like they're going that fast to me. And it just seems like it's a giant dick measuring contest. I could be wrong, but let's take a look. I heard a fucking idiot. You heard him screaming. Is that because it's creating a wake for the sea tow? Because here's what I need explained to me. How is your failure to prepare constituting an emergency on my behalf? Get fucked. I didn't get my boat hung up on the sidewalk like you did, jerk ass. You're screaming at me to slow down while your shit is up on the side of the fucking curb. Yeah, I'm sure it's the wake, Todd, but what I'm saying is that why should I give a fuck? I'm going about my day. I got to sit here and wait for you to figure this out because you don't know what you're doing? By the way, that's a much nicer boat that's hung up than the one he was screaming at. All right, that guy's kind of a dick. All right, even I can acknowledge that guy's kind of a tool. Should these boats be slowing down as they pass the scene? I mean, that guy was 4 feet away from the towboat. He's kind of a jerk ass. But is it the guy that's running the towboat that's screaming at the other boaters? Or is it the owner that's a dumbass that got his shit all hung up on a concrete embankment? I'm having a little cognitive dissonance about that. Look at that. Cito has hooked up a like to the bow and will attempt to pull off. Miss Cito. The outgoing tide at Boyd Inlet is really ripping. Yeah, the problem is that don't matter because the goddamn boat isn't in the water. It's not affecting this asshole. So look, there's John Law to the upper left. I don't know if you guys see those guys up by the Wavy Boats logo, but Johnny Law is monitoring as well, apparently. Are they just going to drag this? So it's just going to scrape. The bottom of the hull of this boat is just going to scrape along the concrete. It appears to be ridged over there for her pleasure.
Jason, get from that side. From this side over to you?
I mean, this is so goddamn emasculating. Can you imagine if you were like the member of a boating or a yachting community? Holy shit. Like, can you imagine if you were going to sit there and invest all this time and money in being a boat owner, and then everybody is going to see this? I mean, this fucking channel has got millions of subscribers. You're never going to be taken seriously. Like, you're trying to swap wives with other boaters and shit. Trying to fucking be approached by a cartel to mule cocaine. Like, all the fun shit that every boat captain most undoubtedly wants to have happen during their boat ownership. That's all gone. This boat can't drag your carcass off the sidewalk. I have to drive a Cito boat. Somebody please look up a fucking application and see how I can submit one. I've got no qualifications, nor am I qualified. Is a single tow line to the bow the most effective method in the situation? How the fuck would I know, Wavy Boats? The answer is no. The answer is clearly no. I'm already subscribed. Stop yelling at everybody. You don't know what the fuck is going on. Uh-oh. So conceivably, if he didn't see this shit because it was high tide, could you not wait for high tide again? Why are we sitting here at low tide going through these histrionics? I'm hardly Captain Jack Sparrow, but I certainly would want to wait until the water is at its zenith before you go dragging the bottom side of my boat off into oblivion. Oh, it broke. Oh, boy. Tow line couldn't handle the load and snapped after minimal movement.
The snap.
Remember we were watching the cave diving video and they're like, well, it's not necessarily the cave. It's just the fact that more people dive here or what have you. Look at this. This is catastrophic. Like what's happening in this video is embarrassing. It's expensive. It's involving other people around you. There's an audience. But nobody's suffocating to death at the bottom of a dismal swamp underground in Florida. Can we not get the endorphins popping by running a boat up onto the concrete embankment? If we're going to go ahead and choose what we want to invest our time in, as tragic as this sequence of events is, vastly preferable. Got another line. Go to the line on the fire. There's people filming. They love screaming at people. Those bro dogs they can give off. Huh? I need you to smash that like button, you craven milksops! Not knowing how this works, I would be absolutely convinced they were going to flip this motherfucker over. When they started going from the back and the front. By the way, this must not happen all that often because they don't really seem to have a policy or a plan of action in place on what to do when this takes place. Zito is now attempting a dual line recovery with one line attached to the bow and second towboat securing the stern. Robin, tell him, Fred. Securing the stern. Tell him, Fred. Both towboats are pulling from each side. Let's tear it apart. Like the Sentry to Ares, the god of war. You guys ever see where the Sentry tore Ares, the god of war, in two? You should look that panel up. It's from the Siege graphic novel. It makes me think that perhaps they ruined the Sentry in Thunderbolts, which lost money. Come on. Come on. Look at all the motherfuckers. I don't think they're rooting for that. Do we think they're rooting for a successful recovery? Is that what we think those people are doing? I don't. I don't think that's what they're there for. I think they're desperate to see this fucking thing go to the bottom of the fucking sound. They want to see Bro Dogs. That has 3 motors, by the way. A lot of horsepower for that little boat. These are not good-natured people. They want death and carnage. All right, here we go. Time for a strategy update. We're going to put pepperoni in the stuffed crust. Crew now decides to pull against the bow instead. Come on! Oh, you got it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Come on. Oh, those prop rotors. Oh, my God. How much are those fucking engines a piece? How much are they? Did you hear those fucking props banging up against the concrete? What do you think it's going to go into this thing to repair it now that it's, I mean, maybe it's just aesthetic. It's possible. Holy shit, what a fuck up. And there's nobody on the boat now too, right?
Come on!
Oh, you heard everybody hear it. Do you think insurance will cover this? Oh, no. Oh, okay. We're good. That looks like so much fun. Sorry. Like, all bullshit aside, doesn't that look like a bunch of fun? And honestly, you can just go ahead and write off anything you do to it because the dumbass is the one that put the fucking ship there in the first place. None of these idiots would have survived the wager. Yeah, you're right. If you're in the fucking Tale of a Whale Maritime Book Club, Whale of a Tale Maritime Book Club, and you're reading The Wager, these assholes would all be Dunsky.
No problem.
I gotta be a sea tower. That's dope. Look at him jump on board. Now, come on, throw the cocaine out. The boat is taking on water. Paparazzi, Chief. Now put your gloves on, both of you. That's real fine equipment you got there, Mr. Hooper. I'm not sure the shark's going to do it. Might eat it, I suppose. I saw I need a rocking chair one time. But there are 2 barrels on him on the coast of Montauk. 2 barrels to bring him up. I think it's in danger of capsizing, is it? What a way to make a living. This guy, I don't know if he films them himself or he just aggregates all the footage from these fucking marinas. There's another whole channel. If you start getting into the algorithm for the boat wreck channels, where this guy just films people trying to get their boats back onto their trailers, and nobody can do it. They fuck everything up. They're constantly just running into the side of the pier and bottoming their boats out. It's incredibly entertaining. Incredibly entertaining. Yeah, so like if you start clicking on some of this shit, you shall be rewarded. You shall. All right. One last one. You guys having fun? Hit the like button. Been here for quite some time. I hope you're having a beautiful 4th of July. I assume some of you have people that care about you and love you. And maybe you're going to go watch some fireworks soon. I'm not a fireworks guy. Had plans with my wife earlier today. She's a little under the weather. So I said, well, I can just sit here and spank it with a thumb up my ass. Or I can spank it with a thumb up my ass with 65 of my closest personal friends. And that was no choice at all, to be honest with you. Quick reminder, we are going to be doing Solid Dudes tomorrow evening, right here. And by tomorrow evening, I mean Saturday evening. Saturday evening, Solid Dudes. We normally don't do it. Should be a fun one. Not only will Barty J, because he got a lot of dollars, stop by, we also will have Joe Azer on the show. We'll have Iron Mike. Jim Jester makes his glorious return. He'll be drinking beers for Super Chats. And we'll be giving away a 1-of-1 Moray Neal rope hat fish hat for Fish Hat Summer. You guys know how much I love Fish Hat Summer. I don't know why my fish hat's upstairs. I didn't think to wear it. That's Saturday night. Go on over there as soon as we're done. Click like, click the bell. Give you a reminder when we go live. We'll have about double the audience we have tonight. When I'm by myself, people don't like it. Jeff Schools, thank you for the $4.99. Fat Tax, fun show. The a-holes have started setting off their fireworks. Is it wrong to hope they come back with a JPP nub? I assume you mean Jason Pierre Paul. No, I fucking hate fireworks, and my poor dog, we have to drug her, and then if it was just one night, I wouldn't mind it, but then the next, shoot fireworks off for the remainder of the summer. One of the reasons why I've enjoyed doing this evening and hanging out with you guys is that I've avoided a lot of that. My wife gave her the trazodone. Is that what it's called? The dog pills. The dog pills that I might take one of myself this evening. Who the fuck knows? Let's go crazy. Let's do rails of dog medication. Thank you, Jeff. Edard, good to see you, brother man. Happy birthday, America. Absolutely. We're coming up on 250, ain't we? We doing 250 next year? Man, that's cool. Cool we'll be alive for that. Knock wood. Hey, even if you people hate Trump, can you at least get excited for a UFC fight at the White House? That sounds so cool. I gotta go. My guy Mike Meyer, not that Mike Meyer, says he's going to try to get tickets for that. He says he has a contact with the UFC. I don't know how he has a contact with the UFC, but he does. Holy shit, would I like to see a fucking UFC fight at the White House. Thank you, Edard. Appreciate you being here, brother. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this before, but I found a pretty good compilation video. There is a soapbox derby. I think this is the one that Red Bull pulls off. Red Bull soapbox derbies. I did the is the soapbox, what is the Pinewood? The Pinewood Derby is the one I did for Boy Scouts. My car did not even get across the finish line. My dad taught shop class and could not be bothered to help his son make a car that would go across the finish line. One of the more embarrassing moments of my life. I was very young. I'll never forget it. There was other kids in my troop where their dads basically built them a Maserati. Kids showing up with kit from Knight Rider, with the General Lee, with the Starsky and Hutch Gran Torino, all the fun cars. They're winning the fashion contest. They're winning Best in Show. They're winning the race. My shit was abominable. I probably have a picture of my Pinewood Derby car somewhere. The soapbox derby's different. It's big cars. You're riding in them. And I guess they do this for these crazy fucking Red Bull contests where they put you in the car and then they want you to crash. They want you to die. And they do compilation videos of everybody fucking themselves up. I found a real good one. So I figure we can watch some of this in honor of how great America is. I don't even know if this is in America. I assume it is. But I think it'll be fun. Evan from Evan and Sarah. $9.99. Thank you, brother. Trazodone is good shit. One for you, one for Riff. I can't endorse that, Evan. I can't endorse that. But I can't say also that it's not going to happen. I can't not fully deny it. Especially if my wife ain't around. She's upstairs resting up. It's very possible that the shootster does the rail of Trazodone, washes it down with some Woodford Reserve Double Oak. Why not? It's the birthday for Los Estados. Let's fucking get it. Thank you, Evan. I've had 30 super chats tonight. I feel like that's great. Well, I mean, we've been on for 1 million hours. How long have we been on? It's fucking dark out. I was going to get in the pool. I wasn't planning on staying here with you people all night. Oh, well. All right. So I think I've set this up. Soapbox Derby. I think these are just crashes. At least what I watched. It's a little cliche. I think a lot of people do this, but it's fun. And it's a fun one to end up the show with today, especially after we started off on somewhat. Well, we got to Ant-Man's sunburnt butt crack, but then we went into people dying in caves. So this is a good palate cleanser, I would say. Greatest Crashes Volume 5. I think that's supposed to be a bass that they're in. It looks like a frog to me. All right, here we go. These people are... Is that Australia or the United Kingdom? It's tough for me to tell.
Made for speed. Has it got the strength and endurance? They certainly started off well. Now, can they mind the gap? Yes, they can. Over safely there. Decent run on the cards here. Two competitors in this particular card. The wedge, no problem. Oh, straight into the hay bales and out. Lost control, came over the wedge, lost control, almost into the crowd. Now they've got to pick themselves up and try and get started again because they were certainly very, very fast. This is where it started to go wrong. Over the wedge, and then they lose control, went to the right, and out.
How do we do this? How do we make this happen in our little universe? How much insurance do you need? I was watching that General Lee jump over the fountain in Kentucky, and I said to myself, how do we get this done without having to hire 1 million EMTs? You just take the risk that no one's going to fucking snap their neck and then sue you. I mean, how much do you think this costs? Couple hundred bales of hay? I can't think it's all that much. Jesse James says, I take 300 milligrams of trazodone every night. I don't know much about trazodone, Jesse. I don't think that's a good idea. If you ever want to sleep without having to take 300 milligrams of trazodone, I don't know that that is a solution to what ails you. Every once in a while, sure. Sounds amazing.
Into the hay bales. So off they go then. Steampunk Mean Machine is over piston. And it started off looking fairly rapid as well. This is moving towards the steepest section of this course, and they get some real air over steelworks. They lose a little bit off the side of the soapbox as well. It's quick, this one, isn't it? Bone Rattler, a little bit of a double hit over Bone Rattler, which made it difficult for the driver, who did remarkably well through there to keep it straight. Thought he might lose it for a moment. Over factory, one-handed through there for a spell. And he skids it across. Oh, he's rolled it. He got slightly overconfident at the end, didn't he? What a spectacular end to the run.
Why would you destroy your fucking Pinewood Derby car at the very end? So much effort went into it. That guy was like fucking Mario Andretti. Let's fucking do it. Cave diving is cheaper than this? You think it's cheaper to go die in a cave than it is to build a goddamn soapbox derby car? What if we do one? Could we do one? Matt Burke, could you build one of these cars? Maybe we'll get John from John and Amanda. He's a mechanic. We need to combine forces. All of the talented people that can work with their hands, that listen to my show, we move them all together into one lab. We build one of these cars. We roll down one hill. Maybe they die. But if they die, they die. I have such affinity for wrecking things. Are those bicycle tires? I wonder. There's got to be constraints on the materials you can use, and that's why these things completely fucking fall apart left and right. Oh, I'm such a fan. DC Sports Mark's been here for the entire episode, I think. Thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. 3.5 hour pop-up episode. We ain't done yet, brother. We ain't done yet. No commercial breaks either, you son of a gun. Think about that while you're sitting there on your wallet not signing up to send a super chat. No commercials. Thank you, DC Sports Mark. Very kind of you. Easier to gather the bodies. Probably. I mean, these people are all in their cars.
That was really quick, but that might well cost them a few points, the way it all finished.
They've spent a long time building this
particular soapbox a couple of months, members of the Toyota MR2 Drivers Club, so they should be okay.
Wow.
And they're off to a decent start through the
Tiny
chicane
guy.
with plenty of speed and very steady up to now as well. Over the
Oh,
ramp,
Lord.
they started losing it now. Can he hold it? No, he can't. It was the ram that finished them off, and all of their hard work and confidence comes to nothing here on the streets of Atlanta. And you can see the mess it's made of the front of that soapbox.
Okay, when do they do this? When do they do a soapbox derby in the streets of Atlanta? Because what I'm thinking is we head to the Liver Mush Festival. We're there for a full week. We buy our new home, but then we wait for like the settlement and the inspection and the closing. And then directly from there, we head down to the Dirty, down to the 404. We go past that second Waffle House. And then we hit up the soapbox race where they smash all their cars up, drive themselves into oblivion, waste a bunch of money. Does the soapbox race have a debris pile? I don't know if they have a debris pile, but it would make it a lot easier for all the bodies to fucking coagulate.
That heavy landing over the kicker. I'm not sure sitting on a push bike down this track
Oh my
is
God.
anything I'd want to do. Here we go round the berm. I'm worried for them already. Through the car wash. Through the tunnel. 40 kilometres an hour.
Holy shit.
Over the water. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. There was no way that they were staying on there. 40 kilometres an hour on there, and then they got all the jumps to do after that. I can't believe this. I've never seen a Red Bull soapbox event like this. He's back on again. Fair play. I wouldn't have gone anywhere near it. Oh, he's gone again.
God.
The stair set's done him as well.
I mean, these guys, if you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough. Roger Allen Wade taught us about that many years ago. You got to try a little bit harder. I mean, they've got a bicycle and a milk crate, and that's it. And who are all these Luigi wins by doing nothing motherfuckers?
They just picked themselves up and got back on again. Sharp and pointy at the front. Does that mean it's going to be fast? Over the water. Well, not too bad. The man at the back finding it hard to stay in. Through the chicane. Now they've got the bone rattler coming after this one. Building up some speed over the bone rattler. Over the bone rattler we go. Oh, he's lost it. He's lost it.
The terrible
Truck's
car.
off the side. Got to keep it straight through there. No shortcuts on the bone rattler, I'm afraid.
Is that supposed to be a paper airplane? That is a terrible car.
They go anyway. They're all friends from university as well. Wide wheels at the front, narrow at the back, small wheels around the ball. They've nearly got over the top. Oh, look at that. He's got the soapbox on him.
I mean, the fact that there isn't massive paralysis that just permeates this entire event is such a fucking... Because, again, these guys don't look like they're 24 or 25. Bones are made of rubber back then. I could see the Shootster surviving back then. Now, after I fell through the deck, I can't even fucking imagine. And also, what type of an automobile is going to be able to go up like that with bicycle tires up on a 30-degree incline and then also be able to go over all those bumps? The engineering alone, I mean, we'd have to hire an engineer to do this. Or just let 3 dumb shits do it and watch them fuck themselves up. I'm looking at this from the wrong way. I should be looking at it from the owner's perspective, not the athletes.
He's just gone up and up and up, and he nearly went over. Look at that. It was only one wheel left on the berm. They've got a hell of a long way to carry that soapbox down to the bottom. I don't often pull for a team to get to the finish in one piece, but with the work that's gone into this, I am.
Look at that fucking car. What an amazing turn of... Is that the Up house? Is that the house from Up, or is that the house that lands on the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz? It's got to be one of the two.
Today, and it's obviously based on the film Up.
All right, there you go.
And off we go.
I've never seen Up, by the way. I'm not a perv.
Whether they can see, whether they can steer it, I don't know, because it's a bulky old thing. But let's have a look. The balloons at the back. Let's
I mean, this is an 11.
see. Keep your brakes on. That'd be my advice. Get it down to the bottom, please. Here we go over the Marquis's steps.
It's so slow.
Okay there. Okay. So far, so good. I think everybody in the crowd's got their fingers crossed for this team today. They're going to go down to the car wrecking stairs now. And this is big and it's bulky, and they're just managing to get it through those little turns, aren't they, at the moment? It's not too fast. Here we go, here we go. Oh, it's gone! What a shame! It's gone! It started to disintegrate around them, but they're still battling. Look, they're still rolling down the circuit. Look, oh, there we go. Get it all off so you can see where you're going. Here we go. That's what it looks like
These guys are a 10.
underneath. I'm not sure whether that's supposed to happen or not, but there we go. And they are going to get to the finish, and then the front wheel goes at the end. It's a lot of smoke.
That's an 11 out of 10 fucking automobile. I love that. All right, we'll save some of these for next time. Up house, yeah, it certainly was. This is a job for Jimmy and Ant. Yeah, I would agree, Todd. I think those two definitely can handle this. There's a gender reveal coming up next. I'm getting some texts from my wife that Ripley is freaking the fuck out because of the fireworks, so I'm going to go upstairs and deal with all of that. I was planning on being with you guys for 4 hours tonight, but I'll have to make it up for you. Hey, if you enjoyed the show, I think we had fun. I had fun with y'all. Consider dropping a like. Consider coming back here on Saturday night. There'll be another free show. Consider telling a normie friend. I'd love to get this channel to 4,000 subscribers. If we could do that organically. Not, I understand as well. And in all seriousness, I want you guys to have a blessed and beautiful Independence Day. What an honor to be in this nation and be able to do this shit on fucking July 4th. I'll be working at Commonwealth Dry Goods on Saturday. I hope you stop on by, say hi, support our small business. If not, swing by the website, pick yourself up something nice. We got the, there's about 5 visit the beaches of Fairfax, Virginia candles left. The key lime pie center. They're absolutely phenomenal. Really, really dig those two. So, oh man, wins after wins. We're piling them up, just like Seamus always talked about. You guys read comic books? You guys read comic? Shit, wouldn't let me put it up. God damn it. We'll get it for next time. We'll absolutely get it done for next time. Oh shit, I can hear Ripley going crazy. I'm guessing she's not drooling and acting like an asshole. I'm guessing she's not realizing that after fucking 18 July 4ths in a row that nothing's going to happen to her. Oh boy. Still, if you have dogs, you know the struggle. If the good Lord is willing and the creeks don't rise, I will meet you guys back here mañana, because mañana we're doing nada. Thank you to Hank R for the 224. Ant and Monk on a barbecue-shaped car for the win. Fun show, thanks. Hey, man, if we can make it happen, we will make it happen. Thank you, guys. Have a beautiful Independence Day. I will see you on the next You Shoot. Enjoy this turkey verse of ours, and roll out the trash can.